is gone. It is gone. 3 homers for Baez. Major League history at Wrigley Field.
It's all gas, no brakes.
Simple plays he executed at a high level.
They need 3 scores here. This time the ball fake looks inside. It's intercepted. J.J. Ross goes back the other way. Only Chad Kelly can prevent him from scoring. Ross has it, and he is going to score. Edmonton running away with this one.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we're here to stay.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, August the 19th, and Carey Price going to be joining some legends in the Montreal Canadiens Ring of Honor. Injuries continue to pile up around the NFL ahead of preseason week number 2, and the Toronto Blue Jays pick up a rare victory at the Trop and do so in resounding fashion over a division rival. Good morning to you and welcome into the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, coming to you live from inside the palatial Stingray Studios at West Edmonton Mall. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tom once again this morning. A couple more days with the Tommy's holiday, vacation, workcation, staycation, depending how you want to phrase it, to round out the rest of the week. We appreciate you tuning in to the program, however you are doing so this morning. Of course, your viewing options, if you want to watch the show, you can do so on our YouTube page. Sports 1440 AM is how you can track that down on the tube. While you're there, we always appreciate you dropping us a like on the video, a subscription as well. You can set the little notification, the bell thing. That way you'll know anytime we're going live for all of our programming here in the Sports 1440 studios. You can also watch it on each of our social channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, of course, over on Twitter or X if you prefer. And then if you are just listening more old school fashion, the terrestrial AM radio dial, always there for you. And online streaming once you're out of range or maybe in and out of the house and the car. TuneIn app, iHeartRadio, and our own website, sports1440.ca. If you do miss any portion of today's show, you can always go back and check it out via podcast, Apple, Spotify, Amazon podcast, essentially wherever you get your shows, you can find it. Just search the Tom Gazzola Show, and ditto there, just like on our YouTube page. You can subscribe, and you can also select the auto download feature. So then every episode, every interview will be waiting for you in your library. You don't got to seek it out. You never have to miss a second of the show. As always, the Tom Gazzola Show is presented by Bet365. Canada just hit the biggest home run of the summer. Bet365 is available in Alberta and here to stay. Download the app. Must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Yes, it was a big victory for the Toronto Blue Jays, who remain plugging along as the hottest team in the American League right now, if you can believe that, if you're doing some out-of-town scoreboard watching. A bit of a mixed bag there, but the Jays get a little bit of power, a little bit of jam out of their bats last night, something that has been so direly missing all season long. Excuse me. And you get homers from the likes of Kaz Okamoto, who sets a new Blue Jays rookie record with his 25th of the season. Josh Smith, the utility man, brought over the deadline. He contributes with a bomb. And how about Alejandro Kirk? Single, double, home run. My quick math tells me that is a triple shy of the cycle. And it made quite the buzz on Twitter once he did get to that point of his night where he was a triple away. And even in my own friends group chat saying, is there a universe, a world where Alejandro Kirk does, in fact, get a triple in that baseball game, or any baseball game for that matter, and completes the cycle? We've discussed it plenty on this show and others, just how impressive of a feat that is to accomplish in one single baseball game. And a great night for Kirk, who continues to come through and round back into form of the silver slugger caliber hitter that the Jays know him to be and frankly need him to be, with so many other elements of their lineup still continuing to drag and lack. Obviously, the big one being Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who remains out of the lineup on the 7-day injured list with a concussion. So a big 10-5 win for the Blue Jays to take the first of 3 over the Rays in Tampa Bay. Get in on the conversation with us this morning. 1-833-401-1440 is how you can do so. You can let us know your thoughts on the Blue Jays. Were you one of the cynical, the pessimists that had completely, and I mean completely, written them off heading into the deadline, knowing that they would be selling off a couple pretty prime parts. Kevin Gausman, obviously amongst them. Dalton Varsho, now down in Houston. We saw Jeff Hoffman go as well. And there is an argument to be made that his presence in the back end of that bullpen is certainly being missed lately, but they're doing their best to patchwork it together in the meantime. And if you were one of those cynical pessimists, are you coming around a little bit? Are you believing that this team, just less than a year removed from playing in the Fall Classic, a game and a couple outs away from being World Series champions, and after such a disappointing first, handful of months of the season, could very well be on the brink of finding themselves back inside the American League playoffs, albeit in a wild card spot? But man, is the AL ever wide open this season. And if you're on the flip side, if you never wavered, you never doubted that they could get themselves back in this position to at least give themselves a chance, well, hey, I don't mind reading off your braggadocious, your pat on the back, self-pat on the back text messages. We'll take all of that and anything else. So 1-833-4-1440. You can get in on the YouTube chat with us as well. We'll be sure to monitor that over the course of the show and dip into it when necessary. So as I mentioned, the Jays are currently the hottest team in the American League over the course of their last 10 games. They're 7-3, which is the same mark they were going into it. They replace a win with another win in their last 10. That is tops in the AL. Now over the NL, there's a couple other teams, Phillies as well, at 7-3, Cards too, as they try and keep themselves in that National League playoff race. And then the Padres, technically the only team in Major League Baseball over their past 10 games who are better than the Toronto Blue Jays. Padres at 8-2. And as a quick aside, what a night for Fernando Tatis Jr. and the Padres. Robbing a grand slam. His bat has come alive over the past number of weeks, looking back to that, MVP caliber player that the Padres, expected him to continue being. And if there's anything to take away from that, if you're a Jays fan, it seemed to just kind of come out of nowhere for Tatis that he finally got things going. Maybe the same can happen for Vlad Guerrero Jr. once he returns to the lineup, because as we've discussed this week, past weeks, any discussion around the Jays getting themselves back in the mix and actually securing that final playoff spot, I'm sorry, it's been a great effort by so many individuals to try and keep this team afloat this season. I can't see them accomplishing it without Vlad Guerrero Jr. getting back to a more, at least average level of play at the plate. I just can't see it. And if they want to have any success in the playoffs, well, his track record shows that that's when he plays his best. He lives for those big moments, and Toronto will need him to do that again if they have any life come October. 7:09 in Edmonton. Let's welcome in the man on the ones and twos, Donovan Paulson, one of a big collected crew in studio this morning. Josh Fenwick. We got Cam Tate alongside as well, posted up at his desk beside me in the studio. Donovan, good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. How are things on what's set to be another beautiful day here in the Capital Region? Summer finally coming around a little bit. It just took 2/3 of the way through August.
Yeah, it took 2/3 of the way through August, and it's taken, what? We're going to have a brief summer after what was...
Well, maybe September will be really nice too.
Sure, but summer, as you've put it for the last couple weeks here, is fleeting. It is starting to go away, and now we have finally found it. We've stopped getting rain every 5 minutes, and it's looking like a classic Edmonton summer again, right? That's kind of what it feels like right now, at least. And it's beautiful outside. The Jays, I'm not going to come out here and say they're back.
You're not going to say they're back? They're a half game out of a playoff spot. A half game, Donovan. It's right there for the taking.
It is right there for the taking. However, it's right there for the taking for the Detroit Tigers, the Baltimore Orioles, the Cleveland Guardians, the Minnesota Twins, the Texas Rangers, and themselves.
But you heard me say no team is hotter than the Blue Jays right now.
You heard me say
that. You heard me say that, right?
This is true. However, any one of these teams can go there and take it. All it takes is just win baseball games. It's as easy as that.
It seems like an oversimplification, but it seems that way because it's true.
It's as easy as that, right? And the Texas Rangers are ultimately the ones who hold the cards here.
Yeah, I should have written this down or at least flagged it for myself. The Jays' record this season against the Rays and the Rangers, I think going into last night, was 2 wins. 2 wins total against those two teams. One of them is a division rival who you play a lot.
They really, it's actually quite funny when you look at the Rays versus the Jays, especially in recent memory.
They beat them up all the
Rays
time.
spank them. It doesn't matter how good the Rays are. The Rays always just smack them around. It's actually quite funny because especially like last year, Tampa Bay Rays were junk and they still find ways to beat the Blue Jays. But yeah, I mean, this year, the Texas Rangers, not only have they absolutely dumpstered the Jays when they have played them, but the Texas Rangers are also the one team who is technically ahead of them, right? And they have obviously one less loss on their record. Jays only half a game back, but Texas would hold some certain tiebreakers and stuff. And
most notably, of course, that head-to-head, because as we discussed earlier in the week, of course, the removal of game 163, little bit of a regrettable decision from a fan base perspective when you look at the standings in the American League this season specifically, right? It wasn't super common, but when you do get that opportunity, it is just sports drama at about its highest point. And
6-way tie.
It's just incredible. Because so if you haven't had the chance to re-dip into the MLB standings card as of this morning, the conclusion of the late games last night, the Baltimore Orioles, Texas Rangers, and Detroit Tigers are all tied for wild card spot number 3, the final playoff spot at 61 and 64. Behind that, the Minnesota Twins, Cleveland and Toronto Blue Jays, both tied at 61 and 65, so a half game back. Guardians, another half game back of that at 60 and 65, and then the Mariners get absolutely bullied, mollywopped, to borrow Eddie Steele's favorite expression, last night at the hands of the Brewers. 22-0, Donovan.
Is that good?
It is a historic loss. That is the biggest home shutout in 141 years. And I believe Josh had it this morning via Mina Kimes on X last night. The Seattle Seahawks allowed less points in how many of their games last year, Josh? 16 of their games last year gave up less points. That's an NFL team than the Mariners gave up last night to the Brewers. Wow. That's tough. It seems that the Seattle Mariners, who, like I said, only a couple games back, they might have the least optimistic outlook of any of these half dozen teams all vying for this final spot.
You talk about teams that have just absolutely collapsed. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Now, that's not everything, but like Cal Raleigh has single-handedly sewered their season.
You're telling me sewered my fantasy team season.
This is true. He single-handedly sewered a lot of people's fantasy teams. I would imagine a lot of people's bets based around home runs and everything of the such. But you look at that, we talk about Vladdy's season, and Vladdy has been putrid. But if you want to look at the worst season probably in baseball this year, period, it is Cal Raleigh. Like you talk about,
and it hurts all the more coming off of
60 home runs.
Being the MVP or
runner up.
That's what I mean. And I'll state as day, I think he should have won the MVP last year. So in the most legitimate way, MVP runner up to a just terrible season. My goodness. Baseball is so fickle.
He is going to finish potentially with less hits than homers from last season. He has 52 knocks.
He has missed time.
But
worth noting too, but that isn't much of an excuse when you talk about the drop-off in play. And once again, maybe this is Canadian bias. I talked about this yesterday when we were discussing PCA's MVP candidacy, right, compared to Shohei. It's like, are we talking about this enough? It's like, okay, well, maybe here in Edmonton, we're so dialed on the Blue Jays. We try and open up our lenses a little bit, but it's so Blue Jays focused. Is the same true when it comes to Cal Raleigh's season not getting enough traction, at least on our side of the border, compared to our favorite, at least this year, for lack of a better term, whipping boy, Vlad Guerrero Jr.? Because Raleigh's been worse than him.
Well, Raleigh is having a historically bad season.
So,
like There's no way. Yeah, we haven't given that up in Canada enough wiggle room, enough story in terms of how bad Cal Raleigh's been, because Vladdy's been bad, but at least Vladdy is around league average with his bat, which is
the power. The power is
say.
obviously not there, but he's still at different stretches hit really well for average, and
he's still done something.
Yeah,
Cal Raleigh is hitting 157.
Yikes!
Does he have 13 homers? Yes, but he only has 52 hits on the season. Like, Cal Raleigh has been one of the worst players in baseball. Now, is he the worst by WAR? No, but he's still been worth negative WAR. He's a negative 0.5 win above replacement. He is worse than a replacement level player, which is crazy to say about the MVP runner-up from last season. There's a lot of stories that are weird this year in baseball. None for me are weirder than Cal Raleigh.
It's a unique study. There's no doubt about it. And it's much like the Jays. It's great to say your best players having that much of a down season, and they're still technically in the hunt, although they now find themselves in that spot of the most teams to leapfrog to try and nail down that final spot. We'll get to a few text messages here. 1-833-401-1440 before we let you know what's coming up on the show today. And our kind of question about where do you land on the Jays? Were you in and you remain in? Were you out back in? Were you out still out? Where do you feel that you kind of end up on that spectrum? Cody says the Jays seem to have found their scrappiness the last few weeks. I could agree to that. I could testament. They're back to being a little bit of that feisty team that just won't quite go away even when they get down in games, because even with the recent streak, they have not found themselves leading a lot and not leading by a lot usually at different points in this game. Last night may be the rare exception to that. Brian Fan, exciting baseball in August and September. That's the best. Easier when you're ahead, but quality is great late. And then he attaches a little cowboy emoji onto that as well. Doug says, BD, I thought the Blue Jays were done 4 weeks ago. And even though they're on a bit of a heater with a pop gun offense, I still believe they will not get into a wild card position. Pitching has been solid, but with minor league hitting and Vladdy being stubborn hitter, refusing to improvise and adjust his approach at the plate, the pitching staff isn't getting enough support from their hitters. Well, yeah, that's, like I said, last night they scored 10 runs, 17 hits, 3 homers. It's like, oh my goodness, are we watching the same team? It was a complete flip of what we've seen even amongst their recent success.
The one thing I will say is, so Vladdy, you talk about approach at the plate. Can you actually tell me what Vladdy's approach is at the plate this year? I don't think he has one.
That's fair.
He looks like a player who just doesn't have one. He's worked on, and this was his critique early in his career, is he didn't look like he had an approach at the plate. This year, as soon as things started to go badly, I felt like he lost his approach. I don't know if that's fair to say or not, because obviously I'm not him. I'm not with the Toronto Blue Jays. But from an outsider's point of view, he just looks like a guy, and that's you can look at the player and see just based on what they're swinging at. Everybody usually picks one spot in the zone, or they're looking for one specific pitch when they go up to bat. And Vladdy will just swing it inside, outside, up high. He'll swing everywhere, and that's indicative of a player who's kind of lost his playing.
Coming up on the big program today, we got another loaded schedule. Right after the break, Rod Peterson, RP of the Rod Peterson Show. We'll hop on, talk a little CFL football, see how his summer is going out in Sask, the WCBL, for which Rod calls some games down to the wire here. I believe Saskatoon and Sylvan Lake are set to play in the league's finals. Spec will let us know how his golf game went in the links yesterday. We'll chat with him at 8:20. Kevin Bowen out of 107.5. The Fan in Indianapolis talk some Colts ahead of preseason week number 2. We'll hear from Cam Tate with Cam and Eggs. And then at 9 o'clock, our Wednesday co-host David Schlemko, the former NHLer, will be in studio. And we'll chat with Brian Newton, the tournament director for the CPKC Women's Open, which is this week in Edmonton. We'll go in or out with Donovan at 9:40, and then at 10:20, Jess Myers from down in Minnesota, Pioneer Press, covering the Minnesota Wild for some off-season Wild chatter. All that, lots more in between, all coming up today on the Tom Gazzola Show. Brandon Douglas sitting in. We got Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, and Cam Tate all in studio. Rod Peterson right after the break. You can watch the show. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Kickoff is coming August 21st. Elks, Blue Bombers at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Country Night presented by Innova. Dust off that Canadian tuxedo and bring the hockey talk to the field. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
What if one moment changed everything? The turn of the key to your dream home, the roar of the crowd from your Oilers season seats, the trip you've always talked about. With the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation Mighty Millions Lottery, winning is just the beginning for you and for them. You could win the $2.4 million grand prize show home plus $100,000 cash and more incredible prizes. And every ticket makes a life-changing difference for Stollery kids and their families. Change lives. Support Stollery kids. Be mighty. Get your tickets now at MightyMillionsLottery.com.
Canadian Tire's Back to Class Big Red Sale is on. Save up to 60% on our can't miss big deals.
Oh, that's loud.
Exactly. So they can't miss it.
Exclusions apply. Ends August 20th.
Get ready for Dreams, the ultimate tribute to Fleetwood Mac, live October 10th at Pure Casino Yellowhead's Pearl Showroom. Relive the magic with a six-piece band delivering the authentic sound, style, and spirit of Fleetwood Mac, featuring iconic costumes, rich harmonies, and unforgettable performances of the greatest hits you love. Tickets from just $44.99. Get yours now at Ticketmaster. Don't miss Dreams, the ultimate tribute to Fleetwood Mac, October 10th at Pure Casino. Pure entertainment, pure action, and pure imagination.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Show on Sports 14, 47-22 in Edmonton. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy G this week as he's down in Cowtown helping out at the Gretzky Hockey School. Tying skates, pushing pucks, doing his best to help out good guy Tommy G, always with the helping hand. Let's get to our first guest of the morning and a longtime contributor of the morning show. He watches his good buddy ride off into the sunset, but that doesn't stop him from hopping on with us. Rod Peterson of the Rod Peterson Show. Now with us here on the Tom Gazzola Show. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy. Morning, Rod. How are things out in your neck of the woods? The WCBL season wrapped. Did I read that correctly? The Berries league champions this year?
Yeah, BD. By the way, hell of a job you're doing. That's a big job you got. You're doing a great job. And number two, I'm in Calgary myself, so I'll be looking for Tommy down here for the next couple of days. And number three, yeah, I was calling games for the Moose Jaw Miller Express. We had a historic season, franchise record in wins, and then we lost out to the Berries along the playoff trail in round 2, and they ended up sweeping Sylvan in the league final. So congratulations to the Berries, 3 years in the league, and they won it all.
Now, Rod, obviously we're very infatuated with the Edmonton Riverhawks here, which is the WCL. It's the comparable league, right? College baseball in the summertime. But that WCBL, I went to a few Gulls games down in Sylvan Lake, and they've had a great start since they entered the league a number of years ago as well. But, you've got the chance to tune into a little bit of both at different points, I would assume. Is it fair to say that the both leagues are pretty much direct comps, or do you think that there is one that is a little bit better in a specific area than the other, or vice versa?
Well, one's pro, one's collegiate. Like Western Canadian Baseball League is 100% NCAA, NAIA athletes. They're not being paid.
Okay.
But it's the highest level of baseball at that level. So there's a lot of guys with the league over now. They've gone to play pro and finished the season elsewhere. So it's NCAA college baseball. 70% of the league is Americans, and it's really, really good baseball. Like I wouldn't do it if it was a beer league. I wouldn't be calling the game. So the players are high level. I mean, look, Carter Beck of the Saskatoon Berries just went in the first round of the Atlanta Braves, 26 overall in the MLB draft last month. I mean, how unbelievable that was for our league just to legitimize it. And then tell the guys, hey, you got a chance to play in the majors coming out of this league.
No doubt. Rod, our connection's a little spotty. I'm just going to get Donovan to give you a ring instead, just so we can we don't want any of our listeners missing out on your great analysis before we start diving into the CFL here. So I'm going to have Donovan give you a quick call, and we'll try to there just because our connection is just a little bit on the fuzzier and clicky side. So we'll catch up with you again in just a second here. Rod Peterson of the Rod Peterson Show, our first guest here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. We'll wait to reconnect with Rod there in just a moment. And Rod's point, I actually didn't know that there was that difference in classification between the two leagues, the WCBL, who of course have the team, the Energy City Cactus Rats here in the capital region. They've endured their own problems getting off the ground with the relaunch and the stadium and all that. And like I said, when I went to Gulls games down in Sylvan Lake, I got the very similar feeling, right, as when I go to the Riverhawks. Now, of course, it's a smaller stadium, but the caliber of play I found very much the same. He mentioned Carter Beck out of Saskatoon, first-round pick, MLB. That is exceptionally impressive. It's pretty cool. And so I guess the difference there, like Rod said, just in terms of how they compensate the players, I guess, is the only real viable difference. But, big congrats to the Berries. League champs this year, and they've got some pretty good shout-outs on Blue Jays broadcast, at least a couple times. I know Jamie Campbell has shown an affinity for that gear. And myself and Connor Halley actually have some nice Saskatoon Berry hats, courtesy of my good friend Omran, who I went to Nate with. He went out and was working in Saskatoon and was working for the ownership group that runs the Berries, Pats, Roughnecks and stuff, all that. So I think we got Rod ready back. Sorry about that, RP. Appreciate you accommodating for us. But we just didn't want to have your great answers go halfway out the ear for our listeners. So let's dive into Week 12 in the CFL, and I want to start with our local club in the Edmonton Elks taking on the Bombers this Friday night here at Commonwealth. You were here for the game of the Saskatchewan, the annual pilgrimage for Rough Riders fans to make their way over. What did you make of the crowd when you came to that game? And have you been impressed with this kind of turnaround, albeit pretty slowly, with this fan base reconvening and bringing their support back behind the green and gold?
It felt like the old days.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what your earliest memories are of Eskimo football, but it reminded me, and we had huge crowds for the West Finals in 2003 and stuff like that. But that day, what was it, 32,000?
That was the announced,
legit? Yeah, that felt like the old days. And I was just telling a buddy here this morning in Calgary, who's from Sherwood Park, he's probably listening right now, Corey Osmack, trainer for the Flames, about my very first CFL game ever broadcast was 1999, a preseason game. We had 37,000 fans in Commonwealth for a preseason game in 1999. What year were you born in, Brandon?
95. So I was just a pup.
So you don't remember that game?
I do not. There? No.
Yeah, so I guess my point was it just felt like the old days. And I mean, I don't think the crowd on Saturday against the Argos rivaled that at all. But I mean, Friday night football here with Winnipeg coming to town, that's a huge game in the West. I don't know why that wouldn't be another big crowd. I refuse to believe that this league can't get back to where it was. I remember walking around BC Place for West Finals back in the day, 55,000, 57,000 Riders and Lions. I'm like, if this is what the NFL is like, sign me up. Yeah. And I just think we can get back there. I don't know how. That's not my job to figure out how, but I will never believe that it's over.
Well, and the league's effort to change some rules, I think that it's going to bring in new fans and stuff. I'm not sure if that's being a huge contributing factor, but at least this season, Rod, the quality of football and the excitement level, like the close games, the flash finishes, all these things have to be having a real positive contributions to getting the game back closer to that level of, the days of yesteryear when, like you said, we're talking 30,000 plus as an easy afternoon at Commonwealth. Forget about that being the season high. And I'm excited to see how things roll out for the Labor Day rematch when Calgary comes to town in another few weeks.
You talked about how long it's taken for the fans to come back. Like Cam Moon is a really good buddy of mine and has been for a long time. And he's an whatever you want to call it, double E, Eskies, Elk. I know a lot of guys refuse to call them Elks. But I mean, he goes to every game. He's had season tickets and he sends me photos from the games and stuff. And he says that was going to take a while. And I don't know. I'm not from Edmonton. I don't live there. You tell me. But I feel like, how can you not support Mark Killam
Yeah.
and Cody Fajardo and this gang, because they're such unbelievable people.
Yeah.
You know, like, but what this league's missing, it's not the excitement. That's never been. You just said it yourself. I get 75% of the games this year have been decided in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The NFL can't say that, but it's hype. I see Cody doing media tours now around Edmonton. That's what's been missing, and thank God for Sports 1440. Told you I'm sitting here in Calgary. There's no sports radio here now. Like, that's what the league's been missing, is the hype and the talk. And God bless you for having me on to talk about it, because back in the day, we would get television ratings in the Globe and Mail every Monday of what the TV ratings are. I couldn't tell you how many people are watching CFL games. I'm sure it's high, but I don't know. We don't. It's just not like it used to be. The product does speak for itself. It always has, but it's going to take more than that to get to those huge crowds. And again, it's not my job to figure it out, but we're all doing our part, I guess.
No doubt. Rod Peterson of the Rod Peterson Show with us here on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tom Gazzola this morning. So on the field then, what have you seen from the Elks this season that has allowed them to be so successful? And at the start of the year, to me at least, Rod, it was like, man, Justin Rankin, the dynamicism, early front runner for MOP. Can he get 1,000? Some of those questions or thoughts have obviously quieted with the way the offense has slowed down a little bit. But it seems that the defense is really the driving force of this team. 31 turnovers, 103 points off of turnovers. That is far and away tops in the league this year. So last week against the Argos, it was really a 3-phase win. But what about this Elks team has impressed you the most so far this season, over halfway through?
I'll tell you what. Well, I've always been a Fajardo believer. So to see what he's doing doesn't surprise me at all. But I think when I really became a believer was the game in Winnipeg. I'm not sure if it was week 1, week 2, but it was early. And the Edmonton defense pulverized them. Yeah. And I don't even know who these guys are. Like 91, 90 on the D line. Like, I don't follow it as much as I watch every game. I don't always even have the sound up.
Yeah.
I'm just watching, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, it was a punishing hit on, I think Caleros. It was a scoop and score by one of the D linemen. And I'm like, all of a sudden I'm having flashbacks to Odell Willis, obviously, and Alfred Payton, and guys like way back in the day of Edmonton Eskimo football that were kicking the crap out of you on the defensive side of the ball. And to the degree that I had Morley Scott on my show, the voice of the Elks, said, who's your defensive coordinator? Like, you're not getting any credit. He's like, J.C. Sherritt.
Yeah.
And, I should have known that, but I didn't. But I'm like, Edmonton's not getting any credit. And then coming out of the touchdown Kelowna game, which I know BC won, but I was just reading the stats, and Edmonton was leading the league in turnover ratio. I'm not sure if they still are or not, but they got to be up there. So they're playing very, very intelligently. They're not giving the ball up. They're taking the ball away. That's like one of the keyest stats in football, is that. So I got to say, very early on, that game in Winnipeg made me a believer. And last year, I had tweeted that Mark Killam is going to win a lot of games for Edmonton, and people laughed at me. I'm like, I'm not saying this year. I'm saying over the next decade, Mark Killam is going to win a lot of games for Edmonton, and you're finally seeing it. I mean, that guy's energy, it's clearly infectious.
Yeah.
And I talked to Cody about the two of them. They remind me of Bo Nix, Sean Payton, where they'll yell at each other on the sidelines, and people will go, "Oh, they must not be good." No. That's two fiery competitors that are on the same page. It's very fun to watch what's going on in Edmonton.
It has been. And your point about Killam is one that's really well taken, because he just, like, from the outside looking in, we're not in the locker room, but he seems like the kind of guy that you want to get behind, right? That if you were a player on the team, you have an easy time following. You have an easy time buying into his message. And whether that's because of his experience in the league, obviously so long down in Calgary as a coordinator, if it is that enthusiasm, that emotion that he's not afraid to show, right? He kind of wears it all on his sleeve, for better and for worse. It's been a really welcome turnaround, obviously, here in Edmonton. So around the rest of the West Division, Rod, obviously Saskatchewan hanging around right there. A bit of a surprising loss to Hamilton over this past weekend, but we've kind of been talking about, tiering teams here in the CFL. And out west, it's Edmonton and Saskatchewan, obviously the top standings wise. Do you believe that BC and Winnipeg now are in the same echelon, or are they in a second tier of West Division clubs? Oh,
they're not in the top tier. No.
Okay.
No. And I don't know that they'll even finish the season that way. And then going in opposite directions, man. I feel like Winnipeg is just hanging on. I had them picked to finish last this year. And I think when all is said and done, that's where they'll be. Somebody's got to finish last in this 5-team West. And BC, on the other hand, they've been fun to watch. Like, I'm going out to Vancouver this weekend as a guest of the BC Lions, ironically, and Amar Doman. And when they were 0-3, 1-5, I never thought they were done. But a lot of people were writing them off, and they were making changes, firing coaches, bringing in Lorenzo Malden, who has made a big difference. But I just had Travis Luley on my show the other day. The vaunted 2011 BC Lions started 0-5. And I said to Travis, what changed that year? And he goes, we in the locker room never believed that we were a bad team at 0-5. And I'm sure that's what's going on in BC now. And the other thing is Nathan Rohr, Zach Collaros has had his time, and I don't see his replacement anywhere in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
For BC, Nathan Rourke, I am always reminding people that he has not won a Grey Cup. And it pisses off the BC people all the time because they tell me, they write me. And I'm like, guys, you should be happy that I'm saying that. Because critics and naysayers are what get me out of bed every day. And I'm pretty sure Nathan Rourke is the same way. He's not going to rest until he wins a Grey Cup, nor will Lamar Doman. I don't know that it'll be this year, but I guess what I'm saying, Brandon, is they are on the way up.
Yeah.
Winnipeg's on the way down. And I'm sorry if that offends people. That's just the way that it is.
Well, I mean, look at the run of success they've had. I mean, you can't sit atop the table forever at a certain point. Like I said, it's sports are cyclical. So this run of success Winnipeg has had, I'm not sure it should be that surprising that they are, poised to maybe take a down year and take their turn on the lower half of that West Division standings. Right. 5 consecutive Grey Cups. I think a lot of franchises would like that, Rod. Oh, my God. Tell me about it. And then the other thing is it's a difference between football and hockey, but there's, a lot of, you mentioned Saskatchewan. I mean, I'm out here doing some shows here in Calgary. I'm on my way to Vancouver, but I'm going back to Saskatchewan for another couple of weeks before I go back to Florida. So I hear from the Rider fans all the time. I talked to one of the coaches the other day. They don't like that they're not getting enough respect as the defending Grey Cup champions. And I'm like, why does it matter? But whatever, like, just go do your talking on the field. And them losing in Hamilton didn't help. As you mentioned, that was a shocker. And like I say, do your talking on the field. But they're already basically conceding, not the team, but the fans conceding this game Sunday to BC because of all the injuries the Riders have. And I get it. Injuries are a very big factor. Like, if Connor and Leon get hurt, you're not making the playoffs. That's a legit thing. But you still got to play the games. That's right. Yeah. And last one for you, Rob. We'll stick out west for it. And it's the only team we haven't talked about in the Calgary Stampeders. Now, a few weeks ago, I was really buying the hype. Like, the offense continues to put up points with the highest scoring team in the league. The defense showed signs of at least a little bit rounding into form. And I'm like, man, these might be a little bit of a sleeping giant team inside the West Division. Now you go out and lose 2 straight. And at different times, the offense looks like shadows of its former self. And the defense still can't really get the stops when they need them the most. And so now I'm thinking the Stamps are a little bit more of a paper tiger than they are as a sleeping giant. What do you see out of Cowtown? They're the hardest team to predict in the world. Because I do picks every week and I'm always wrong on them. I mean, if VA doesn't get hurt last week, they probably win that game against BC, but he got hurt. So and they're off this week, which is a blessing for them. But it's funny, when you were talking about Killam and his attitude, I was thinking about, there's different ways to do it. Like, Dave Dickinson is 1 win away from 100. So nobody's ever going to criticize Dave Dickinson, but I sometimes wonder if the man has a heartbeat. He couldn't be more opposite of Mark Killam, but we're not going to sit here and argue with Dave Dickinson's success, right? Yeah. But it just seems like the Stamps are up and down. Like, here's what you got with Edmonton. You're either really bad or really good for a season. Calgary's up and down week to week, and that's just hard to figure out. I'm a huge VA fan. I love the underlying story that nobody talks about. The BC said goodbye to VA for Nathan Rourke. I mean, that's got to piss him off every day, let alone when they play each other. Yeah. Calgary will be there in the end. They're going to be in the playoffs, and they know it. This has always been, by the way, a Calgary thing. I spent enough time in this town to know it. I went to college here. The Stamps are like, sometimes they sleepwalk to the regular season and turn it on in the playoffs. And I've always said that's going to bite you in the ass eventually, and it never really seems to. So I guess my point is Calgary will be there in the end. They're just they know the regular season's for figuring things out. I guess that's some optimism for our friends down the highway. And like I said, maybe some of our friends in Calgary that are listening in due to the unfortunate news of their own station closing earlier this summer. Well, Rod, appreciate your time as always. Safe travels. Enjoy the trip out to Vancouver, and then you said you're back to Saskatchewan for a few more weeks yet before you head back southbound for hockey season.
Yeah, I'm hosting Labor Day events for the riders, and then jumping on a jet back to Florida for a sixth season covering the Panthers and Lightning. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be good times, buddy. Good to talk with you. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. Appreciate your time, and have a good one. We'll chat again soon down the line. Appreciate it.
See you, BD.
Rod Peterson of the Rod Peterson Show, all-time good guy and a longtime buddy of Kevin Karras's. I think they went to school together down in Calgary, and Kevin hangs him up. Not Rod. He's a trooper. He keeps going. He's not a quitter like Kevin Karras, I think is the simplest way to put it. 1-833-414-40 is our text line. We got Spec coming up at the top of the hour. When we come back, we'll talk a little NFL football and give you some updates on some injuries as they continue to pile up around training camps and preseason as poor Connor Halley. The Chargers cannot buy a break. But before that, I quickly wanted to get to this message. L. Nate had texted in, and he was asking, he's like, off air, so I texted him back as well. But he's curious about the information on tee times for today's Pro-Am at the CPKC down at the Royal Mayfair. He asked when world number one, who's here this week, by the way, Nelly Korda was teeing off. These are the Pro-Am tee times. If you are interested and you're heading down or want to head down, I really encourage you to do so. So Brooke Henderson, defending champion, Canadian, two-time winner of this event, she will tee off at 8:10 on hole number one. Nelly Korda at 8:30 on hole number one. I'm looking at a few other of the prominent names. Lydia Ko will be at 8:30 on hole number 10. Another one of the big names here this weekend as well. Lexi Thompson at 9 o'clock on hole number 10. And if you go to the CPKC website, you should be able to track this down. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a note, and I'm happy to pass along more information. I didn't end up getting down there yesterday for the pressers, just so my afternoon got caught up, but me and Mac are going today to hopefully catch some of the end of the Pro-Am and then get a chance to chat with a few of the golfers. And we're going to have, as I mentioned off the top of the show, the tournament director, Brian Newton, on at 9:20 to discuss as well. So if you're listening to L. Nate, I hope you caught that. If not, I'll be sure to pass along the information via text message in the break. When we come back, a little NFL talk, and we'll check in with the fellas here in studio as well. It's the Tom Gazzola Show. Brandon Douglas sitting in, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, and Cam Tate all alongside. Watch the show. It's streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, and it's brought to you by Bet365.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout for Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
The Chicken Parmy Burger, McExtreme pulled pork, garlic and black pepper chicken McNuggets, cheesy bacon McFlavor fries, and the Stroop Waffle McFlurry. You've scrolled them, you've screenshotted them, you've never been able to order them until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world, now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
For all your welding supplies, think AWS Welding. Located in Nisku, their readily stocked storefront carries a wide variety of welding glasses, cylinder rentals, plus welding rod, wire, and consumables. Same-day delivery is always available. And if they don't have it, AWS Welding will find it for you fast. Visit their online store today at awswelding.ca or give them a call or text at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. They make it happen.
Barbecue season. Nothing like a great steak. Which reminds me, Metal Supermarkets has even created custom grill tops for rusted old barbecues. It's one of the many special requests they've received over the years. You'll be amazed what their skilled crew can do. Barbecue grills to grills for classic cars. Sky's the limit. Speaking of sky, that's a lot of smoke up there. And fire in the hole. My steak. So long, sirloin. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
The Tom Gazzola Show. All gas, no brakes. Edmonton's sports leader. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, 746 in Edmonton. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy G, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, and Cam Tate all in studio. It's a full house this morning and going to get even more full. As well as David Schlemko coming up as our Wednesday co-host from 9 to 11. I expect young Connor the intern to make his way in here at some point. It'll be a packed house. And thank God the air conditioning is back today. So let's all count our lucky stars for things like that. It's about the little victories, boys. The little victories. Because it is supposed to be another beautiful day, and that's great for if you are heading down to the Royal Mayfair. Chance of rain tomorrow at a different points of the day, I believe. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all looking gorgeous, which is obviously also positive news if you're planning on heading to the Elks game Friday night. You want to win tickets? You can do so right here on Sports 1440. Text Elks. ELKS 28334 and 1440. You automatically get entered. We're giving away tickets all week long on every show. So just text it in. Elks 2833401 1440. Now, I'd mentioned this before the break. Injuries across the NFL training camp landscape continue to pile up. I'm just going to straight up read down the injury report, most recent one, and some of the names that are on here and other timelines, prominent ones. So we talked about Breece Hall. That was the end of last week, I believe, right? Or started this week. He's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks, but should be ready for week 1. Jeremiah Love in Arizona, their top draft pick. High ankle sprain. Looking possible for the start of the regular season, but no sure thing. Kyle Monungai out of Chicago. Potential handcuff to DeAndre Swift if we're talking fantasy. And a big part, he's kind of like their power back. Little ball of energy back there. He's going to miss multiple weeks. Could be good for DeAndre Swift in the early going of the season. That was with a hyperextended knee. Jordan Tyson, the Saints, top for a first-round pick wide receiver. 2 months with a hamstring injury. This is a guy that carries a lot of injury baggage from his time in college. Alvin Kamara, also going to miss at least a month. And then how about this one? Connor's Chargers. Their offensive line just cannot buy a break. I believe this is like 3 straight preseasons or early seasons where they have a guy go down. So Tyler Biadasz, their big offseason ad, $30 million deal. Huge hole they had at center. He was carted off the field. Unable to put any weight on yesterday. And not very encouraging signs there. Emeka Egbuka, turf toe in Tampa Bay. He's going to be out probably at least a couple weeks. That's a weird one, the turf toe. It sounds like such a lame injury, but it's really more so actually your foot than your toe. And from all, I've never had it. But it is very painful. Very, very painful. So if you couple that in with the Saints and Cowboys brawling at their joint practice, never a dull moment in NFL preseason. And Fenny, you need to be paying closer tabs to all this stuff. The injury news, who's where, who's here. Keenan Allen lands in Indianapolis. We saw Najee Harris coming back from injury. He's going to play for the Giants, probably in tandem there with Cam Scatterbo. You're back in your fantasy football league.
Yeah, just reinstated this morning. Michael Vick's doggy daycare, ready to take on the rest of the league.
And this is because, for those that may not know, your league is one where the champion, do they pick somebody to go over here, or is it like a relegation? If you finish last, you're out the next season.
The winner gets to pick someone to kick out for a year.
So it could be the second place finisher?
Yeah. So if you like went to the final, so I got kicked out because I scored the most points in the league. I just ever so happened for the first 10 weeks of the season went up against the only person that scored more points than me that week. I think my average points per loss was like 2. So I was getting a little PO'd. And then I went on a run to end the year and won the poop bowl.
Yeah.
So,
And this is a total redraft league?
Total redraft every year because you can't pass off.
That actually would be a hilarious element, like dynasty league format, and your entire team, everybody that's on your roster, just shelved for a season. They're not available.
That
to anyone.
would be really funny.
You're like looking around the top league standings, and you're like, who has Jahmyr Gibbs? Oh no, he's just on Josh's team, which is completely just like grayed out for the season.
Which I wouldn't mind because on my team 2 years ago, I had Josh Allen and Devon Achane. Now, for those of you that aren't keeping up, Devon Achane, best part of the Miami Dolphins. Plus he's rich. So if I had Devon Achane on my team, just like sitting there waiting for me, I'd be a happy little camper. I tell you what.
Achane's a player that I drafted him as a rookie in my dynasty draft all those like many years ago now. He's been around, feels like forever already. But they go into this year, I've been like so skeptical. I'm like, should I try and trade him? And I'm like, he's going to be the only good part. Is that easy for defense to scheme against? I've been him and on it. We talked with Alan Soslowski yesterday, kind of gets his thoughts on it. He's like, man, most people are still big believers in Achane's ability to produce because he's going to get the ball so much. And as a result, I think I'm probably holding on to him. Donovan, you're a resident Dolphins expert. What say you?
I'll give you the whole track, the whole arc here.
Oh,
so
okay.
over the summer, you find out where your fantasy football pick is, and then you kind of look at the landscape around you and you decide, do I hate this guy? Do I like this guy? I started out looking at Achane because usually I try and stick away from those one-man offenses.
Yeah.
However, in this case, I know a lot of people are saying Malik Willis isn't going to check the ball down, which might be true. However, tell me who is going to get the ball instead of him. Like, he will be wide receiver 1. He will also be running back 1. So who's like, are you going to seriously give the ball to Jalen Tolbert over Devon Achane on a passing play? I'm just saying, like, he is going to get, in my mind, there will be at least 100 targets, and you know how many times he's going to carry the ball. It's probably going to be 1 million. So as much as the touchdowns might come down, I'd expect it to be kind of just normal for Devon Achane.
Let's make that our kind of informal or unofficial question of the day. Not about Achane specifically, but 1-833-401-1440. And this kind of stemming off of what we saw from the Blue Jays broadcast the other day. How do you select your fantasy football draft order? And how do you do it this year? Have you done it in the past in different ways? Does it change every year? Do you do the same every year? Connor Halley and his friends, they go play a round of golf. And the only holes that count for the draft order are the par 3s. So, and that kind of puts everybody in a little bit more of an even playing field, right? I've seen a number of wild ones that I wasn't a part of, but I was witness to during my time at university. And they're fit for air. I'm happy to share, and we'll kind of do that over the course of the morning here. But text in 1-833-401-1440. How have you selected, or how will you be selecting your draft order? Because fantasy football drafts are either happening right around the corner. You've only got a couple weeks to really get it sorted out here before the NFL season does, in fact, begin. Top of the hour, Mark Spector will be with us. We'll see how his golf game went at the links yesterday. See if he fared a little bit better than the hole he was on when he joined us, where he essentially just picked it up, said, give me a bogey and call it good. I should just do that every hole. Just pick my ball up, be like, yeah, give me a bogey. I'm good. I'll shoot 90 every time. It's awesome. And then at 8:20, Kevin Bowen from 107.5 The Fan in Indianapolis. He'll talk some Colts with us. You talk about potential one-man offenses. They got Jonathan Taylor. They got Keenan Allen now. Is that enough to round out their passing game and make them a little more formidable inside the AFC South? Before all that, Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. AWSwelding.ca. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
MLB action from last night. The Toronto Blue Jays thumped the Tampa Bay Rays 10-5 with Kazuma Okamoto setting a new Blue Jays record for rookie home runs with 25. The Yankees topped the Orioles 3-1. The Guards beat up on the Giants. The Bo Sox took down the D-backs 9-4. The Rangers blanked the Nats 5-0. And the Brewers absolutely annihilated the Mariners 22-0. NFL injury news, Alvin Kamara has sprained his MCL, meaning he will be sidelined for a month. And in case you missed it, yesterday, Najee Harris signs with the Giants. Coming up next, it is Sportsnet's Mark Spector. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country. Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. Hire Good provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact, because our team is built on second chances, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Greger for a first-time discount. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Hi, thanks for calling Uline.
Wait, did the phone even ring?
Nope.
Okay, so you answered before the ring. But now you're going to put me on hold, right?
We don't do that here. We're real people answering the phone, ready to help with your order when you are.
Uline has thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline, we warehouse for you.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Eight o'clock in Edmonton. Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tom this week. Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, Cam Tate, all in studio. Packed house this morning. The air conditioning is back in full force as well here at the Stingray Studios in West Edmonton Mall. Daily, 8 o'clock means time for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This is such a great initiative that Mike Lowe and the crew are doing up there at Northgate. For the remainder of August, proceeds from every vehicle sold will go towards the Summerland wildfire victims. Get a great vehicle and support a great cause. Only at northgategm.com. As we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, good morning. How'd the rest of the golf game go yesterday? You hit him straight out there?
Yeah, I hit him relatively straight.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to say that is a nice thing Mike's doing over there. There's a lot
sure
of people in Summerland suffering, man. Everybody knows someone up there that was either on vacation or lost something or almost lost something or whatever. So that's pretty cool that a dealership way out here in Edmonton's helping some people in BC like that. Our world should be more like that, not less, man.
Yeah,
I can see it.
So, Spec, we had Rod Peterson on earlier in the show, talking about a little CFL with RP. He's actually down in Calgary right now. And I'd mentioned that Rod and Carius actually went to school together back in Calgary when they were coming up through the ranks. Rod still grinding away, calling Western Canadian Baseball League games, plus doing his own show, traveling across the prairies, goes back to Florida to cover hockey all winter. And Kevin Carius sitting at home, sipping his morning tea, probably listening to the show today. And this text came in from Not Fred. I just wanted to get to it. You're mentioning how Rod Peterson's still working and Carius is not. That's because Rod Peterson is a sports journalist and Kevin Carius is a gardener. Can you testify to this in all your years working alongside Kev? And I'm sure you've crossed paths with RP more than a few times too.
Oh yeah, Kev was a good sports journalist. He covered lots of stuff. He told you a good story. He broke a few things. He's but why is he still working? Maybe because he's got a hobby. Maybe because he could transition into being the green thumb. Gardener supreme that he is. I don't know. Is that like he was on the show last week, right? What's Kev doing? Yeah. Is he just growing stuff? Is he what's he doing now?
I'm really not too sure, to be honest with you, Spec. He comes on here and he talks sports for about 10 minutes and then talks about God knows what else for the other 10 minutes that he was on with Tom, and I'm sure it was the same when he was on with Gregor in the afternoon. But he does say his garden is taking up the majority of his time. He's getting out and playing a lot of golf. I played not with him, but right in front of him on Friday at the Legends. I don't know if you knew this, Beck. Kevin was honored at Legends. He was this year's Legends inductee onto the wall.
No way.
For their annual Hickory tournament. Yeah. And if you didn't know about it, you just need to talk to Kevin because he'll tell you.
He'll tell you, yeah. So the Hickory tournament. So did they turn around and give all that golf, all those Hickory golf clubs to Sports Central when the tournament ends?
Yeah, Kevin would, that's for sure. Be like, yeah, I just want to open the door for the next youth coming through Edmonton that has a chance to be a great in the game of golf. Here's a Hickory club, a whole set of them. Go out there and make the PGA, kid. I believe in you.
Right.
Unreal.
Yeah. And here's some wooden skis. You can make the Olympic team at the same time.
Remember, they're high efficiency. They were high efficiency wood skis that Carius dropped off. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet with us here on the Tom Gazzola Show. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy G this week. Now, I did actually have a point of bringing up the Rod Peterson conversation, Spec, besides dogging on Carius, I swear. And because we were talking about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And 5 straight Grey Cup appearances. But now you look at them this year and they're still hanging around the middle of the road. And it's kind of seeming like, all right, with Kolaros towards the end of the line, we know running backs don't last forever. Brady Olivier is still very productive, but how much longer can he be so? Even in a league like the CFL where there's so few teams, it's cyclical, right? That's the nature of sport. Teams have runs of success and then they take their turn toiling at the bottom or at least the mushy middle for a while. This text came in from our buddy King of Fornassi. He says, but the Golden Knights have sat at the top forever. And forever, a relative term here. Since their inception, they have been nearly a perennial contender for division title, Stanley Cup, winning one, and a couple other finals appearances. When do you actually see this Vegas kind of castle toppling a little bit? Because all they do is trade away futures, spend the limit every year, kick cans down the road. When this team falls, I have to envision them falling pretty hard when it does come around.
Well, I mean, I guess I would say to you, let's define how teams fall in hockey, right? Like the cycle in hockey, it's different than the CFL. The cycle in the NHL is you build a competitive team, often through a rebuild. In the Vegas case, it was a different scenario with the entry, with the expansion draft.
Yeah.
You build up like they say the Oilers did. And then when you get there, now you're a contender and a legitimate contender. And now you start mortgaging your future to win right now. And now some of your players, like, I would say to you in Vegas, you end up with a guy like Jack Eichel, and you sign to a long-term deal. So you're locked in on him for a long time. You get Marner, you lock in on him for a long time. So my point is, on one hand, when you're Vegas or any good team, you're divesting yourself of future draft picks. You're not renewing the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, you're filling up your salary cap with players who are good and you want to keep them. So what tends to happen is those players get less effective. You got nobody coming in underneath. And this begins how a team falls over the top. So why hasn't that happened in Vegas, right? Why haven't they, they got Thomas Hertl signed at 6.75 every year. He hasn't been very good signing for them, but generally they've made good signings, Brandon, right? Jack Eichel's a good player and a good signing. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Shea Theodore, they signed 7.5. He's a really good player for 7.5. So I guess the answer to the question is, when their best players go over the top and aren't earning what they're getting paid anymore, and I think they're a ways from that. Jack Eichel's still really good. Mitch Marner's still really good. Then they get exposed because their farm system's got nothing, right? Look at Dorofeyev. They do bring up a guy in Dorofeyev who's a good young player, who's going to help you into the future. Can't afford to keep him. So that's a sign of a team that's further along the trend. Give Vegas credit, man. They've hung in there a long time. It's been a good long window for them. Like, they're well run and they're smart. Brad McCrimmon knows what he's doing, man. Kelly McCrimmon knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So when's it going to come? I mean, I guess I could find signs that it's on its way, but I don't see Vegas being bad anytime soon. Do you?
Well, no, because of exactly what you said, where the players they have made the real commitments to are still at high levels. The Marners, the Eichels, the Theodores kind of headline that list. But they do still have Thomas Hertl under that deal. Is not very good. That deal they just signed Rasmus Anderson to, man, I don't know what you spec, but since he landed there, and I get it, it's not always a seamless, immediate transition for some of these players, but that didn't look like a perfect fit. And they essentially take the money that they could have used to bring back Dorofeyev and instead say, no, we'd rather shore up the defense. And circumstances matter here because nobody could have predicted, obviously, the Pietrangelo situation and injury, that, essentially career ending here. So my point is that when you make those commitments to the top end, guys, you really do have to hit on all of them. So then the filler players that you're signing each July 1 for $1 million, $1.5 million, because that's all the money you have left to fill out your entire bottom pairing, third and fourth lines. Well, it's just your margin for error, in my opinion, gets that much smaller, right? And the same can be said for any team. I think that's fair. But I just wonder, are those margins somehow, if it's even possible, growing even thinner for Vegas on a year-by-year basis with each new longer-term, higher money deal that they sign guys to?
Yeah, I think with every team, like, sure, they signed Aiden Hill to a long-term deal, and it's not a great deal because he's not really proven out to be a great number one, 6.25. But they fixed the Band-Aid that by getting Carter Hart at $2 million.
Yeah.
So really, they've got two goalies. They got $8.25 million spent on two goalies. That's not crazy. There's nothing wrong with that. Who cares who's playing the most?
Yeah.
Now, next season, Carter Hart wants a raise, and now you got your back up at 6.25, and Carter Hart is going to say, okay, well, I'm a $7 million goalie or an $8 million goalie. So now you got a bit of a problem there, right? Now you're going to have $14 million spent on goaltending, and that's too much. So yes, like your point is totally valid. The less money you have, the more crucial every future signing becomes.
No doubt.
You could say the same about the Oilers. I mean, did
It's
they
true.
sign Jake Wallman for way too much? Yes. Did they throw away an extra $1.5 million on Frederick? They probably didn't have to. Of course they did. But they're big guys. They're main huge contracts. Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Bouchard, Ekholm. Those are all pretty good contracts, right? Those are all pretty good. Jari, not so great, but generally their top guys are making money, but they're guys you don't mind paying money. That's where you can sort of stay on top, as opposed to having guys like, I'm throwing a name out there, like a Huberdeau in Calgary, makes the most money on your team, and he's killing you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet with us here. You catch any baseball last night, Spec? The Jays bats kind of come alive a little bit in a rarely. They usually do not fare very well at the Trop, but that's a big victory for them, as they are actually still the hottest team in the American League, 7-3 in their last 10.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of the karma of this Toronto team, that we say, is it really there for them? Like, they came out of this spot where they said, they're selling off Gossman, and they're a seller at the deadline. And yet here they are. They brought a couple guys in, kind of sneaky moves. And here we are, 7-3, hottest team. To me, the karma is, if you can beat Tampa, a team that's owned you forever, a team that's, it's been the Rays have just been the rock in Toronto's shoe, man, for as long as I can, the last 7 years. I got to look the numbers up here and see what their record is, but it's got to be awful, doesn't it? If you can beat them, maybe the baseball gods are looking at you a little different here. Maybe you got something going on, because you're beating the Yankees, you're beating Boston, you're beating a lot of teams, but that Tampa team's always given them a ton of trouble, and they put up 10 on them last night at the Trop, so that's a pretty good start.
I would certainly say so. And then so a couple more games down there. Let's just say maybe split the next two if you're really optimistic, or you lose the next two. To me, the series against the Yankees is almost more important, Spec, because of partially the fact of what you just said, where you almost expect them to lose when they go to Tampa Bay, and any win you can get seems like a bonus. But against the Yankees, who will be healthier already than they saw them last week, or over the weekend, I should say, like a couple guys back, they're going to see Carlos Rodon on the hill, I believe. Like, that to me is almost a little bit more of a measuring stick, even though the Yankees are still well ahead of them in the standings, like Tampa Bay is. But this Yankees team, I don't know, like, they just seem to be one that almost inversely, the Jays seem to be able to get the best of more often than not, even when they're one of the better teams in the MLB.
Yeah, and the Yanks don't have that much to play for. How far are they behind? Right?
Yeah.
They're what are they? 5 games back of Tampa. Tampa's the best team in the American League. So, you go into Tampa, take 2 out of 3. I mean, that means you got to play really good ball to pull that off. But I would say to you, the Yankees are kind of in that weird spot. I'm looking at the standings. They're the top wildcard team with an 8.5 game bulge. So they're not losing that. They're in the playoffs, but they're 5 games behind Tampa. They're probably not catching Tampa. So they're kind of in a spot that I would say to you, that clubhouse is probably pretty relaxed. They know where they're going to finish. And if you're a Toronto team that's really hungry and you're coming in there and you got to win, the wins mean everything to the Blue Jays. There's for sure a competitive edge in a baseball game. Baseball's a long-term game, man. And when one team's got nothing to play for and the other has everything to play for, I know who I'm betting most nights for sure.
And to shout out Bench on the text line, Jays are 39-60 against the Rays since 2020.
Is that right? So
that is a span in which the Jays have been largely a very competitive team in the major leagues.
Yeah, right. So basically, they win 4 out of 10.
Yeah,
39-60. So they play 400 ball again. I would have thought it was worse than that, but thanks to Ben, that's a good stat.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Spec. Anything particular on tap for you today? No more golf games lined up?
No, hanging out. Got some family in town, chilling out at the lake. Starting to get calls. Actually, had a long phone call with my boss a couple days ago. So that wasn't when I saw his name on my phone. I was like, oh man, really?
You actually answered it?
I did answer it. Yeah, we had a good chat. So we're already brainstorming a few things, but I don't think I'll be picking up the laptop anytime soon, if that's what you're asking.
Oh, thank goodness. I wouldn't want you to work too hard. And then last one, just because you were playing the Lynx yesterday, and I actually was lucky enough to play with you out there at the Oil Kings Alumni Tournament a couple years ago. You, me,
Yes.
Maddie, and Lyle Best. It was a really good time. Do you have some favorite courses here in and around Edmonton that you play maybe more frequently, or when you do get the chance to play them, you always say, man, I'm looking forward to that tremendously?
Yeah, we're really blessed here. Like if you talk to your people and friends in Vancouver and Calgary and Toronto, we're blessed with so many publicly accessible courses that are good, like good courses, like you go down and play, like I'm out in the West here and I'll play Lewis Estates is a good game of golf. I played the Lynx yesterday. Shout out to those guys. They got so much water there still. It's unbelievable. Doing their best to give you a game of golf. Like, holy cow. I got to say the quarries probably for me in terms of a really good test of golf. If you're not playing very good, the quarry can be tough, man.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It chews me up. And listen, I'm a very amateur golfer. I'm like a 17 handicap. And so you go to a place like the quarry, you better have your A game there. It's going to make for a long afternoon.
Right. Murray's running the ranch out there. The ranch has become one of the most consistently in great shape, good game of golf, real challenge courses in the city. Like, it's a killer place to play. I'm a big fan of Cougar Creek out west here. It's a good place. Listen, man, or you go out east, like there's just so many places, Broadmoor, Legends, Eagle Rock's fun. I play them all. I'm not a guy that's going to join a club. I'd rather play around the city and just enjoy a bunch of different courses. Wouldn't you?
I'm kind of the same way. I usually get the CCT card every year. There's 7 courses in around Edmonton, and it's a couple $100 you buy it, and then you get some nice discounted rates in those courses. So those can be your more regular spots. Have you been out to play Coal Creek out by Toefield?
I haven't been out to Toefield yet. No, I have some friends that go out there every year, and I get an invitation, and I always look at the Google map and go, 2 hours. They say it's worth going to, though. Everybody tells me it's well worth playing.
Bring your windbreaker, but otherwise it's a great try. The black coal or the black sand bunkers and stuff, really, really cool aesthetic they have, and excellent course on top of that too. Spec, excellent stuff as always. Enjoy the rest of your casual Wednesday, and we will yak at you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
All right, man.
Mark Spector on the mark, powered by Northgate. This truck's for you. When we come back, Kevin Bowen from 107.5 The Fan in Indianapolis will take us inside the Colts training camp and what's the outlook for Indy's team heading into the 2026 season in the NFL. Brandon Douglas in on the Tom Gazzola Show this week. Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, Cam Tate, all in studio as well. Watch the show. We're streaming it on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. And it's brought to you by Bet365.
The Chicken Parmy Burger. Make extreme pulled pork, garlic and black pepper chicken McNuggets, cheesy bacon McFlavor fries, and the Stroop Waffle McFlurry. You've scrolled them. You've screenshotted them. You've never been able to order them until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world, now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus all. T's and C's.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tommy G this week. Hump Day. I hope you're having a great start to your Wednesday, and weather looking pretty tidy here in the capital region. For today, chances of some rain tomorrow, but then excellent heading into the weekend. So if you are heading down to the Royal Mayfair to take in the CPKC Women's Open, looks like the weather should be agreeable for you to do so. Plus, of course, the Elks Friday night at home at Commonwealth. Let's head down to Indianapolis for our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, the MVP you didn't know you needed. For all your plumbing needs, go to mrrooter.ca. As we welcome back Kevin Bowen from 107.5, The Fan in Indianapolis, talking Colts ahead of the 2026 NFL season. Kevin, good morning. Appreciate you taking some time with us today. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
So, Kevin, I want to start with the most recent news that's come across the wire regarding the Colts, the addition of Keenan Allen to this receiving core. And, you know, it's bounced around even in this studio a little bit throughout the later stages of the offseason into the start, saying when Keenan Allen didn't land with a team. And there were a few spots that seemed perfect for him, and the Colts being one of them, to kind of provide that reliable veteran, especially third down type receiver option for this team. How does he fit in your eyes inside this Colts offense?
Yeah, I mean, him and Shane Steichen have a long history together with their days with the Chargers. I think there's kind of a cerebral nature to his game. Shane kind of referenced him as a quarterback playing wide receiver. So I think that kind of checks that aspect of what Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen did kind of create together, especially through the first half of last season. And, I've been out there at all 11 training camp practices up here in Westfield, a suburb north of Indianapolis. And, the warts of the wide receiver position were starting to show up a little bit more. Now, Alec Pierce has not practiced yet with an ankle issue, so that has obviously contributed to things. But I just don't think there was enough quality depth on the team. So I think when you kind of check out all that, it made total sense why the Colts are exploring this. And honestly, he's probably the most notable, free agent wideout still out there.
No doubt. And you mentioned Alec Pierce still yet to return to the field. Is there a timeline on his, because obviously he comes in, the new deal profiles out as WR1 on this team, going to be very important to the level of success they can have offensively.
Yeah, it's a little murky on that. Now, Pierce has kind of thrown out originally the timetable of 4 to 6 months, and this dates back to a late March surgery. So we're approaching 5 months on that timeline. So I guess we're kind of smack dab in the middle of that right now. Now, the one timeline that has not added up, though, is Chris Ballard, their general manager, said at the start of training camp that he would be out a week or two. So the thought there was he would already have been back. I think we're now we're at least 3 weeks, I think, into that original 1 to 2 weeker. And, as we talk right now, they're about ready to take on the Falcons in joint practices tomorrow and Thursday. The thought is Pierce won't participate. So that's the one timeline that hasn't checked out, where Pierce is, it's not going according to plan, again, based off, where Ballard said things would be at the start of camp. So once they wrap up, in Westfield, they'll have 3 full weeks. And now the question becomes, is that enough time? Do you have to scale back his playing time at all early in the season? It's a very tough schedule out of the gate. Yeah. So, he's such a critical component to this offense.
Talking all things Indianapolis Colts with Kevin Bowen from 107.5 The Fan down in Indy. So preseason-wise, they tie with the Pats last week, which is a little bit unique. Anything really stand out to you during that game? And when we saw Anthony Richardson take some meaningful snaps under center, is this team still really believe in Richardson as a long-term option, or is it kind of say, we're going to keep him around and just have him as a solid reserve at the quarterback position? Is there still belief that he can be this team's long-term starter?
No, definitely not. Mm-hmm. No, I think at this point, this is Daniel Jones's team, and the leash will be very long on Daniel Jones this season. They paid him whatever it was, 80 some million in the off season. So yeah, the Richardson question continues to be a storyline. Obviously, he's the 4th overall pick, and he's in the final year of his rookie contract. He had a trade request in the off season. All those things. I think right now the Colts say, hey, the trade for you is not going to lead us a whole lot in return. And last year, we literally had to bring a grandpa off the couch to play quarterback for us in Phillip Rivers. So, given Daniel Jones' injury history, you need quarterback depth. And I think the Colts view Richardson and Riley Leonard as that. They're still battling out for that backup job. So I think that'll be something to keep an eye out. But I'm now kind of under the impression that Anthony Richardson will be with the Colts. He'll be either the 2nd or the 3rd stringer. And then I guess we'll see when the trade deadline rolls around in the midway part of the season if anything changes.
And so if they decided to move on from Richardson, like you mentioned, is those own trade requests submitted to the team, like what would it take to pry him out? Because you mentioned the draft capital invested to bring him in those couple years ago. It's obviously very on the high end, but you're never going to recoup that. But how much do they need to recoup to justify moving on from him, whether it be a fresh start for him elsewhere or even just to kind of take that potential narrative out of the locker room should Jones struggle at any point in the season? And we know how quickly fans love to go to the QB position and demand a change.
Yeah, first off, I think any sort of trade for Richardson right now would net kind of a late day 3 pick. I think you got to be kind of in reality with where things would stand, and then if you're the Colts, you say, is that worth it? Or do you keep him and say, hey, if Jones is healthy, we can use him in some short yardage situations. Maybe Daniel Jones isn't going to be a big QB sneak guy coming off the injury. So Richardson offers a dynamic element there. As far as what would it take for Richardson to all of a sudden be, Jones would have to get hurt again, which unfortunately, and can't be ignored, that's kind of been Jones's career. I believe it's a 7-year career. I think he's only started and finished the season one time in his career. So that can't be totally ignored. That would it would have to take a wild run of bad play and losing, I think, for the Colts to bench Jones like that in, a last ditch attempt at the regime to kind of save their jobs. But again, I just think when you weigh pros and cons, had you traded Richardson back in the spring, you would have netted some financial return on him. You would have opened up some cap space. Well, now you've paid virtually the entire contract. Mm-hmm. So there's no real even financial incentive to move him.
Now, their top pick of last year's draft, the 2025 one, Tyler Warren at the tight end spot, had himself a very good rookie season. And even if the numbers don't blow you away yardage-wise, like this is a huge part of what this team looks to do offensively. What do you envision his ceiling as here in year number 2 with, an assumption that Daniel Jones can stay healthy at least the majority of the season and provide him some quality quarterback play?
Yeah, I think he should be one of the best tight ends in the entire league, bar none. He was really trending in that direction through the first kind of 2 months of last season until Jones got hurt. And you always kind of debate, hey, is there a rookie wall that a player hits? And, I think the Jones injury had a lot more to do with it than anything. So, yeah, a healthy Tyler Warren, I would take him super high in fantasy football. I would, I fully expect him to have a great, great second season.
Now, Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, it's kind of been at times a tumultuous thing about whether or not they wanted to give him the long-term money. He obviously eventually gets it. And much like the Colts team, a microcosm of it, just an unreal start to last season, did kind of slow down, but his final stat lines read very encouraging. Is still one of the best running backs in the entirety of the NFL. So almost an identical question to the Warren situation. Is his viability as a productive back on a game-to-game basis really have to go hand in hand with the right QB under center and making the pass threat still a danger along with Taylor getting the rock?
Yeah, I mean, he's not really a third down guy, Taylor. Yeah. I mean, he's a bona fide star on first and second down. And, again, similar to Warren, if you look at Tyler Warren's numbers the final 2 months of the season, if you look at Jonathan Taylor's numbers the final 2 months of the season, it is drastic how much they dropped off, and honestly, it correlated with the Colts winning and losing. I mean, Taylor was on a historic pace through the first 2 months of the season, and then I don't think he had a rush longer than 15 yards since Thanksgiving of last year. So it was just a really struggling finish. And again, I think the Jones injury is the root of so much of that. I think part of it is just life as an NFL running back. This probably gets into more of a philosophical debate you would have of like, do you draft a running back high? Do you give a running back multiple contracts? The Colts just gave Taylor a third contract. And again, he's a great, great player, but there's only so much that guy can do, or that position, I should say, I think can do when they're having to carry all of the weight. And when Jones went down, they had to carry all the weight. And when Phillip Rivers couldn't throw it, from me to you down the field, then that all of a sudden meant that your offense was shrinking in terms of, how much a defense has to respect it. And I think that put more guys in the box, and that hurt Taylor. So again, a great, great talent, 1,000%, one of the better runners in the NFL, but you still need somewhat of a passing game to, try to compliment you as best you can.
No doubt. As we chat with Kevin Bowen, morning show host from 107.5 The Fan in Indianapolis, where we're teeing up the Colts season here. On the other side of the ball, last year's big in-season ad was, of course, Sauce Gardner coming over from the New York Jets. They've got a pretty solid secondary, including a couple of their top picks from this most recent draft with Halkey. Allen, as mid-rounds and in the middle of that backfield. What does this defense shape out as, and where do the strengths lie in it? Is it back in that secondary, or does this pass rush have enough to do some damage up front?
Yeah, I think when healthy, it's definitely the secondary. If you recall, they made one of the bigger trades in the entire NFL last year with the Sauce Gardner trade, giving up 2 first-round picks along with a former second-round pick and A.D. Mitchell at wideout. Gardner barely played, was hurt for a lot of his time here. So him and Charvarius Ward, a big free agent signing from last year who battled some concussions last year, those two are vital to this team playing in January. The Colts haven't made the playoffs in 5 years. One of the longer droughts in the NFL currently. And I think so much lies on the secondary, because I think there are some pass rush questions. DeForest Buckner's coming off a really serious neck surgery. Is he still DeForest Buckner, given his age and given the physical ailments? They really need a big third-year jump from Latu, defensive end out of UCLA. He was actually the first defensive player drafted in the 2014 draft, or the 2024 draft. So again, those guys, I think are going to be big. It's a lot of new faces around those guys. I think it's 5 new defensive starters with Lou Anarumo's second year here in Indy. But yeah, I think so much rides on that secondary. If you can have those corners healthy, they should be able to play a lot of press, play a lot of man, be on islands. That should allow you to contribute more to your pass rush. But again, them staying healthy is such a critical piece to this season.
Now, you mentioned the lack of success, particularly in the playoff drought that the Colts have endured in what most years is a very gettable AFC South. It kind of remains one of the more question mark divisions across the entirety NFL. The hot seats for the likes of Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard at the GM spot. How warm have they gotten? And is it, if it does happen at the end of years at one fell swoop where they clean the entire house, or is there a world where Chris Ballard can somehow still hang on to this job even further?
Yeah, I think that last comment a lot of Colts fans would ask you. It's a miracle he's held on to it as long as he has, given that, the resume is 0 division titles, 1 playoff win, 2 playoff appearances in the 9 years at the helm. In today's NFL, a lot of GMs wouldn't sniff seeing now a decade at the job. So I always make the seat warmer analogy, and I feel like it could apply to you guys north of the border there of, in the old car that I have, you got the seat warmer, and you can do it to the first level, the second level, the third level. You save that third level for the very cold days in the winter. I think you're on the third level. I think it's a scorching hot seat. Carly Ursay Gordon felt the need to come out right after her dad did it the year prior felt the need to come out with a statement that everybody was coming back. I think anytime you feel like you need to say that statement, it probably means that everyone is on the hot seat. Yeah. It's a little awkward in that Ballard's been doing it for 9 years, whereas Steichen has only been doing it for 3 years. So, again, are they tied at the hip? Are they not? You have a new ownership, and that, Jim Irsay's passing last offseason, and now his oldest daughter, Carly, is kind of taken over. So, that's a little bit of a new wrinkle in terms of past precedent. But yes, I think it's very fair to say it is a scorching hot seat here in Indianapolis.
And so what degree of success is necessary then for it to be deemed, a passing grade where both or at least one guy, I guess, take your pick, can keep their job? Is it, competing for the division title? Is getting into the playoffs enough? Do they need to see a playoff win? How do you gauge that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, I think you are at a point in time where it is probably, I would say, at least making the playoffs. Some might argue winning a division title. It's the old thing of like, hey, how do you weigh 1 year versus the other 9 years? Is just one appearance enough, or is that a little fluky? It being 1 year. So I would say at least experiencing January in some capacity is a must.
Kevin Bowen from 107.5 The Fan in Indianapolis talking Colts preseason action. What's any indication of what the lineup's going to look like for week number 2 preseason matchup here coming up against the Falcons?
Yeah, I assume not a lot of starters. Again, they got joint practices today and tomorrow with Atlanta here. Typically, when the Colts have done that, they haven't played a lot of the starters. I do think they'll play some against Detroit next Saturday because they don't have joint practices with them leading into that. But yeah, I would assume not a whole lot here with the Falcons coming up Saturday afternoon.
And then one last one for you, Kevin, and this is a little bit of an off the beaten path one. We've talked to people out of Chicago, and it's been going on, this ongoing drama situation about where the Bears are going to play football in the future. And obviously Indianapolis is relatively close to Chicago, and this spot just across the border from Illinois where the Bears might build this new stadium in little miniature city. How much traction is that getting on your guys' side of the border in Indiana compared to the arms in the air type situation actually in Chicago itself?
Yeah, I'd say it's probably more of a joke kind of to us. That part of the state has always been Bears country. The Bears actually used to host training camp in that part of the state. Rensselaer was the area back in the day. So again, like we call it the region, that part of the state of Indiana is Bears country. I think if you grow up there, 9 out of 10 fans are Bears fans. It's more just like Hammond, Indiana being like, Bear. Like, it's just kind of wild to think that they could literally not be in Illinois. I understand that we're probably a long ways away from shovels in the ground and all of that, but it's kind of more of a funny bit than anything. Then, oh my gosh, they're going to steal Colts fans. I don't view it in that light really at all.
Interesting. Yeah, well, stuff like that can always make for some for good fodder when you're hosting a morning show as you do at 107.5 The Fan. Now, Kevin, appreciate your time. Thanks a lot for joining us this morning. Enjoy the rest of preseason camp. We'll look forward to catching up in season hopefully as well.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Kevin Bowen, 107.5 The Fan in Indianapolis, and talking Colts, a team that a lot to prove this season in, like I said, a gettable AFC South. It's biased. I'm a Texans fan. I do think it's the Texans to lose with how good that defense is. But you look at Jacksonville, you look at Indianapolis, how they started last year, and a large portion of that group returning on both sides of the ball. Tried to improve their pass rush. You mentioned the secondary, strength of the defense. You have to think Indianapolis at least believes, and their fan base genuinely believes they could win the division. They could, or at least grab a wild card spot in what continues to be a pretty open AFC. That was our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter, batting 1,000 against clogs. That's mrrooter.ca. When we come back, we will not hear Cam and Eggs. Tater's working feverishly at it. We're going to push it to later in the show because he says he's got something really good cooking up in the pan this morning. So we'll table that. David Schlemko will be with us at the top there. When we come back, we'll dip into the text line, 1-833-401-1440. We've got texts about golf. We've got texts about football. about baseball, a little bit of everything, kind of potpourri so far this morning, and even a little bit of hockey mixed in there too. So we'll dive into that, chat with the fellas on the other side of the board as well, all before Schlemmer rolls into co-host at the top of the hour. It's Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, and Cam Tate all in studio as well. The show brought to you by Bet365.
Founded by a former pro motorsports competitor, Evolve Wheels and Tires brings decades of experience in custom wheels, lowering kits, lift kits, and accessories. Visit Evolve Wheels and Tires in West Edmonton, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride, evolve your experience.
Recently, our company softball team lost a big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
Mr. Rooter cries like a little tiny baby child.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you've got a package from Mrs. Rooter.
Aw, the card says, "Thank you for our unbreakable bond. You're the pro press fitting to my copper pipe."
Ooh, what's in the package, Mr. Rooter?
Let's see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. She knew I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's flowing or it's free with Mr. Rooter.
I love that woman.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
We go together.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
$8:44. Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy G this week. He's got a couple more days off before he makes his triumphant return, and I myself depart for my yearly holiday. Not a team player, right, Donovan?
Nope, not a team player.
This show is brought to you by Bet365. Check out Bet365's early payout for baseball. When your team goes up by 5 runs, you get paid out immediately. No stress about blowing a big lead. Download the app and see what early payouts all about. And if you're so inclined, because like Montana to Rice, you question me saying it's Houston's division to lose. And MTR says theirs to lose. They didn't win it last year. How can it be theirs to lose? Well, I do believe, as I just bring up the latest odds at Bet365, they are the favorites to win the division. And he followed up, so like, by how much? Houston currently going off at 110, plus 110 to win the AFC South. Jacksonville, plus 230. The Indianapolis Colts, plus 375. So pretty crowded at the top, but not even close to the tightest division in that regard. And then Tennessee, plus 850, pretty decently far back. So to answer your question, MTR, Houston, plus 110, Jacksonville, plus 230. Some other divisions, just for reference point, in between the closest and second closest, Buffalo heavily favored to win the North, or the East, excuse me, minus 135, Patriots plus 125. As you can imagine, the next two clubs are pretty far back. The Dolphins to win the AFC East, Donovan.
Plus a million?
Is this worth a sprinkle? Plus 4,000.
I think it might be worth
That might be worth like a $5 bet. What if Malik Willis just goes off?
It might be. Hey, if Malik Willis, I've been calling him Willie Franchise for the last 2 weeks. So I fully expect Malik Willis to break out and become a top 10 starting quarterback in the NFL. All seriousness, no jokes at all. It's total jokes. I actually don't think Malik Willis will be that bad, but we'll find out.
The team's going to be that bad.
The team will be bad.
In the AFC North, Baltimore's favored at minus 105, Bengals plus 175, and then Steelers plus 500, excuse me. The Browns plus 2,000 to win the North. Pretty far off. So that one's quite tight at the top between Baltimore and Cincinnati. And then in the AFC West, how about this? KC plus 165. They missed the playoffs last year. Houston won a playoff game last year. To me, it's no doubt they're favored to win their division. KC, Mahomes back from injury, a team that seems to be kind of trending in the wrong direction in a lot of regards. They're still favored to win their division. Chargers plus 190, Broncos plus 220.
Do you not think Broncos is the bet there?
You have to think that's got to be some decent value. Like, their defense is very good. They're bringing back almost every player, and it was already one of the best last year. Bo Nix, I believe in Bo Nix at least in a competent level.
I agree.
To me, Bo Nix almost just has to dial things back. Like, if he just takes a more Cody Fajardo approach, because he's good with his legs, he's relatively consistent. Let's don't turn the ball over. You're going to have a lot of success. And the addition of Jalen Waddle is huge for them. That's what they've been missing, is a bona fide number one receiver. And I like Cortland Sutton a lot, but is he a game breaker type? Waddle can take the top off defenses a little bit more. Their biggest question might, in fact, be at the running back spot. Like, who's getting the touches? Is it just like a different guy every down?
All three. I think it's the answer there.
I think it's very, very possible. We chatted with Brandon Kosmider a few weeks ago, and he kind of said Sean Payton doesn't really have a history of using a 3-back system, but 2 for sure. So that's why camp for the Broncos is almost intriguing to just see what 2 guys are going to take those 2 spots, and the third guy kind of almost is like waiting in reserve to be like, all right, is J.K. Dobbins going to get hurt? I
feel like R.J. Harvey's the one that's cooked.
You think so?
I think it's R.J. Harvey.
Well, they draft another guy this year.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that if you had more faith in Harvey? I don't know.
It tells you that they don't have that much faith in Harvey. To me, that's what it tells me. And I also just think that, he's sneaky old already. Who? R.J. Harvey. He
was a late guy.
He was a late guy coming out of college, right? So, he's not as young as you think he is. And did he really impress you in any way last year? He didn't to me. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It is. And I probably agree with you.
I think he's the one that's cooked. But Denver, as much as I hate to say it, and my buddy Kyle's texting it about the Denver Broncos. Yep. Have to watch them with him every weekend. It's a great time. I love it. They're probably the bet there, as much as I hate to say it. But I also think the Chargers, I think the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs. Again, I really do.
Yeah, I do my full season prediction once preseason is over and you get a full picture of injury stuff, because all that matters. But I predict every game on the season and dictate what each team's record is going to be. I am very interested to see how the Chiefs shake out and all, because I still believe in them. I still believe Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I've seen enough. Like, he wasn't a 1-year flash in the pan wonder.
Of course not.
Like, I've seen plenty enough now. Coming back from injury changes things a little bit, but yeah, the AFC West is an absolute dogfight. I can see any one of those 3 teams winning the division. I really could.
I feel like with all the Chiefs' loss, man, Trent McDuffie's huge, right? Like, I know you draft your corner 6th overall, but that's a huge loss. I don't think that can be sold enough. Like, that needs to be talked about more in respect to the Chiefs team, and they just continue to get older and older and older. I feel like it's the end of the road for the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe I'm the idiot here. It's quite possible that they just bounce back and, win 12 or 13 games again. But I feel like Patrick Mahomes hasn't been good since 2022. That's the truth. He's been fine, but look at his numbers since 2022. They're not wonderful. I don't think you can call him the best QB in the NFL anymore. I personally, because his numbers aren't very good. They're fine. He's still unbelievable in the clutch moment.
1-833-401-1440 is our text line. A couple messages chiming in, coming off of our conversation with Spec about the really embarrassment of riches that Edmontonians and those living in the capital region have for publicly available golf courses to them. There's some real dandies here. Matt in Leduc says River Ridge is my personal favorite. Hey, that's on the CCT, man. Great track. Tommy G and Belsey played it last week. I believe they got rained out partway through and then went to the clubhouse and came back out and did their best to finish as many as they could at the twilight spot. But yeah, I love River Ridge. Beautiful, right along the river. So green. Then if you get there at a faulty time, right, obviously as the river valley is changing color, the scenic part of it is just tremendous. iMac says Trestle, Coal Creek, Whitetail. Says he's playing Coal Creek on Friday. It's in perfect shape. Greens were dressed yesterday, so I had sandy balls. Pause. But he's saying it'll be perfect by tomorrow. Yeah, you played out at Coal Creek, Donovan?
No.
Have you played anywhere outside of the city of Edmonton? You're really nestled in here.
I'm going to Canmore to play some golf this weekend.
What? Donovan, you have to be back at work on Monday.
That's fine.
I'm worried about you.
Buddy, I'm going to be back at work on Monday. Don't you worry. Don't you worry over there. We'll be fine.
I'm worried.
It's going to be a nice little weekend. Get the fantasy football going, the draft as well. But no, I've played Stewart Creek in Canmore. I try and make one round out at Cougar every year.
Yeah, I love Cougar.
I love Cougar. That's probably my favorite course in the area. Just nicely priced too for how nice the course is.
It's right off the highway. It's a half-hour drive out of the west side of the city here.
It's really not that inconvenient, but I love Cougar. Yeah, I try and get out. I've played in BC before. I've played in Mexico. I've played in a lot of spots.
Josh?
Yeah, I've played Coal Creek. I think probably my third favorite course I've ever played. But I played there a lot more.
It is just
than most of my other places.
I mean, you're prairie living it there, man.
Oh yeah.
Like I said to Spec as kind of a little tongue-in-cheek joke, bring your windbreaker. Because you'll have a great time, but you might get knocked over just standing on the green. But yeah, it is beautifully maintained, and it's purely an aesthetic factor. I guess there's some practicality in terms of the actual sand itself and its coarseness, but
the black sand is cool.
The
as
black
hell.
sand bunkers is so cool.
It is awesome. The first time I ever played there, I ended up in the bunkers on hole 1, and I wasn't very good at it. I'm still not very good out of the bunkers, but I was much worse then. And I ended up taking
green side or fairway bunker.
A green side. I can get out of a fairway bunker pretty easy. 7-iron, it's whatever.
Oh, 7-iron, just mash it up there, casual 220.
Well, out of the fairway bunker, you get it 150, right? That's enough.
Just thin the pee out of it.
But I took up the clay from under. That's how
really?
bad. That's how bad
Oh
my first chip was there. And then dialed in. I made an eagle there, so that was cool.
Not
but
a big deal.
Not a big deal from the fairway. Hold out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool with an 8-iron. But I think my favorite still with a bullet is Grey Wolf that I get to play once a year.
Yeah.
And then Bears Paw down in Calgary, which is a public course now, or it's semi-private. If you have the opportunity to get down there, it's expensive, but it is a lovely, lovely course, and it's very gettable.
Husk said just played Brewsters in Canmore. Have you played that one down there, Dom?
I have not. I've only been down there once.
I'm super naive about some of those courses around Canmore and Calgary. So I've never played down there.
Beautiful.
You obviously hear nothing but the absolute best. And then the rig. Pheasant back is a hidden gem. Used to go there while we were at Content Bridge. Yeah, well, the rig, him and I actually have some connections going back. He played slow pitch with my aunt and uncle for a long time. My family originally from Hinton. And Content Bridge, which is just between Delburn and Stettler, crossing the Red Deer River. Huge ballpark facilities. Awesome place. They've kind of let it go by the wayside. Nothing happens there anymore. I think it's still a campsite. But Pheasant back, to his point, just outside of Stettler, you talk about a beautiful course that will chew you up and spit you out if you don't bring your best stuff. Oh, man. I played there once with my future brother-in-law, and holy smokes. It's a good thing we had a fully stocked bag of balls, because we went through a lot. And then we'll finish on this one from Kyle. Wolf Creek, unreal course, kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's a sneaky good one. Well, it's in the middle of nowhere, but it's right on Highway 2. And it's another thing. It's like an hour outside of Edmonton. I love the Wolf. I'm playing there on Saturday morning, actually, for that same future brother-in-law's stag. I'm only going to be there for the first 9 holes before things get too out of hand.
Deleting 80 beers again?
No. I have a wedding in Edmonton in the afternoon. So I'm going down playing 9 holes with some of the fellas. They're going to carry on with the rest of their weekend, and I'm coming back to go to this wedding. So should be fun though. But yeah, Wolf Creek, awesome. You camp right there too. It's a pretty cool to stay and play option. Top of the hour, David Schlemko going to be sliding on into co-host with us from 9 to 11 at 9:20. Really excited about this conversation as we're going to chat with the CPKC Women's Open Tournament Director, Brian Newton. Brian's got an interesting background, been involved in golf, been involved with Hockey Canada. We'll chat about this week's event down at the Royal Mayfair, what you can expect if you're going to check it out, and maybe the encouragement to go and check it out, because it's pretty cool and unique that our city gets to host an event of this caliber. And I think they made a fun few tweaks this year to, try and make it on par with the Canadian Open, the RBC Canadian Open, usually out east, in Ontario. And then in the 10 o'clock hour, we'll chat with Jess Myers from the Pioneer Press, covering the Minnesota Wild for some offseason talk. And somewhere in there, we'll mix in Cam Tate's Cam and Eggs. Before all that, a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of RE/MAX Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
MLB action from last night. The Jays thumped the Rays 10-5, with Kazuma Okamoto setting a new Blue Jays record for rookie home runs with 25. The Yankees topped the Orioles 3-1. The Guards beat up on the Giants. The Bo Sox took down the D-backs 9-4. Rangers blanking the Nats 5-0. And the Brewers absolutely dumpstered the Seattle Mariners 22-0. NFL injury news: Alvin Kamara has sprained his MCL, meaning he's sidelined for a month. And in case you missed it yesterday, Chargers center Tyler Biadasz went down with an ugly knee injury, still to be determined the length on that one. Coming up, we've got David Schlemko, of course, our co-host for the day, joining us right after the break. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Kickoff is coming August 21st. Elks, Blue Bombers at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Country Night presented by Innova. Dust off that Canadian tuxedo and bring the hockey talk to the field. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Greger brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
At GS Construction, we won't quit until we find a way to get the job done. And the right person makes all the difference. We're looking for our next superintendent, an experienced leader ready to take on the role. Because while GS Construction is building the water, sewage, and drainage systems Edmonton communities rely on, the superintendent is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
It's finally time to escape your four walls and see where your four wheels can take you. Sherwood Honda helps you head out on the road the way you want to, with the right vehicle, including freedom-seeking SUVs that give you the versatility to drive where, when, and how you want to. It sure would do some good to get out and stretch your horizons, and sure would be easier with Sherwood Honda.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Just after 9 o'clock. Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy G this week. Happy Wednesday to you. Halfway through the program. Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, and Cam Tate all in studio as well. 9 o'clock on a Wednesday means we welcome in our co-host. He is former NHLer, former Brick Tournament player, Quick Card Minor Hockey Week champion, Medicine Hat Tiger, WHL champion, and he's brought to you by Cougar Paint and Collision. Our family service and pride have earned customer trust for decades. CougarCollision.com. He is the Schlem Dog millionaire, David Schlemko. Good morning. Welcome in.
What an intro.
I was thinking about this the other day. We kind of made a bit out of Eddie's intro where he's, all-decade team, Vanier Cup champion, Grey Cup champion, all these things. It was like, Schlemmer's got a pretty impressive resume himself.
Thinking, wow, that might be your future seat there, bud.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot Central Hockey League champion.
Oh, okay, there you go. What? And that was with the San Antonio team?
I was with the Arizona Sun Dogs.
Oh, San Antonio, they would have been the AHL team.
Yeah,
I read
yeah.
the Rampage, right?
Yeah.
Okay, at the Sun Dogs. That's an awesome name.
Pro hockey, baby.
Did they? What were the jerseys like there?
They were like red, yellow, and white, and then they had kind of like the Sun Dog logo in the middle. Yeah,
sweet.
They're good.
Schlemmer, how you been? How's your week treating you?
Great, buddy.
You enjoying the
Can't
little
complain.
bit uptick in the weather here?
Loving it. Yeah,
Yes.
got a couple stints in at the pool at the Glendale with the kids. Haven't played as much golf as I like. Pretty trash the last couple of rounds.
Feeling all right or what?
Body's feeling all right. I think just not playing enough. And then you go out and you play like trash.
You're
and
like, I don't want to play again.
And it's not fun.
we were just kind of shooting the breeze here in that last segment about some of the places that real amateurs like myself, Josh, and Donovan have managed to get to over the years. You've obviously played a ton of different tracks across North America, not just here in Alberta, but you got some favorites. Obviously, Glendale, you're a member there, have been for quite a while. But other local ones like Capital Region ish that you really like to get out to and play.
Oh, definitely. I like Cougar Creek if you're going out west. I like Goose Hummock if you're a little north. I got a soft spot for Sandpiper because it's close to where I live. Like, not a great
That's
track,
probably my
but
most played course since I've lived in Edmonton, just because it's on the CCT. I've been a member, and now living on the west side the last couple of years. Love buzzing up there.
yeah, it's a good CCT course. Same with Ravencrest. My parents live close to there, so I play that one quite a bit. I grew up playing at Fortinview, just outside of Fort Sask. They used to have like a junior membership for like $99 for the summer. So that was a good way to stay out of trouble. There's lots of good public tracks around the city.
There really is, and
the Ranch is a good one too.
Yeah, and and I was talking with because on Friday I was playing at the Legends Hickory.
Oh yeah.
We were playing with our regular clubs, thank God, and that was enough of a struggle for me as was. But in my group was Piercy and the Wiz from the Ranch, a couple of the pros out there, the buddies of Carius's, and I was talking to him, I was like, man, like I live 5 minutes away. Wish I could play. It's very hard to get a tee time there, because of how popular it is, and like they play and book so many tournaments there. Like it's great for them, great for business wise and everything for sure. But at times it could be like, I want to go play here, but man, you better be on the ball to get yourself an actual time to get out.
It kind of feels like that everywhere now at a public course, doesn't it? Like the game's grown so much since COVID. I mean, if you're going to play a public course, you got to get ahead of it, right? You're not booking a tee time 1-2 days ahead anymore.
Very rarely, and usually if you're like and you'll almost always end like it's maybe for like two people, you and a buddy and your parent, always playing with another pairing, which is fine. I have no problem doing that almost under any circumstance. There's always exceptions, but and so as a longtime golfer and a very good one at that, where do you stand on the whole grow the game idea coming out of the pandemic, where it's nice to see more people playing, maybe more people that you want to play with, like your buddies or your wife or your girlfriend, whatever the case. It's like they're more interested in getting out, but it does have some drawbacks, obviously, too.
It does. This is a polarizing topic. I feel like, you know what? I'll put it this way. When I first started seeing like the golf fights on social media, I thought like, oh, this is hilarious. Like, this is great, you know? And then
it just keeps going.
Then it just keeps going. And it's like every day you see another one. And it's like, it's hard to argue with the shrink the game comments a little bit.
And so I'll take it one step further, especially on the polarizing front. Like, we're in the media business. We work on generating content and getting things out there that people want to see. The golf content field has just exploded. And it seems like everybody and their dog is posting their golf videos, and they're carrying around the tripod, and they got the cameras on the cart. Now, right hand up, I have never actually seen it in person myself. I've never seen a person filming every shot on the course or whatever. But to your point about what you see then online, where they're getting into it with other golfers, and they're like, I wasn't being slow at all. I was like, well, if you're probably being at least a little slow if you're doing this every shot. And I'm not saying it's to the point of you're actually slowing down the course. You're probably waiting every shot anyway too. So I'm okay with that. But at what point do we like where's the line get drawn?
Right.
And how do you police that a little bit, where you say, hey, you're paying your money, you have every right to be out here and kind of do what you want while you're out here. But my goodness, is it necessary?
Right. I mean, I think that depends who it is. Depends on the course. Like, you know, you watch a guy like Bryson's videos, and some courses they'll shut the whole course down for him.
Right.
And of course they would. They're going to get huge publicity from it. But you know, there's some other guys that maybe they say no to. Like I know with the Glendale, they've said no to a couple like up and coming Canadian
like
guys,
local ones, or
that wanted to bring all their stuff and their cameras on the course, and they just said no thanks, but no thanks.
And so maybe this is my ignorance, because I love golf, I love watching golf. I'm not huge into the golf content. Like there are certain creators that I find I really enjoy. I usually enjoy the Sandbaggers with your old buddy Biz and Witt and the guys they play against. Bob Does Sports, who funny enough Chicklets has played against a couple times. I find those guys really entertaining, but otherwise I don't like seek out that stuff all the time. But there are like Edmonton based people that are doing this on a regular.
That's what I heard. Basis. I heard that from another member, so I shouldn't spit it as a fact, I suppose, but I have heard that around the course.
Interesting. David Schlemko, former NHLer, co-host here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. So Schlemmer, we're more than halfway through August. Training camp is less than a month away. Is this the time where, when you're an active player, you train all summer for the most part? You maybe give yourself some breaks, obviously. But is this at the point, like a month out, where are you heading back to where you're playing to start skating more locally? Are you really dialing things up a little bit to, show up to camp best shape of your life, as the cliche goes
every year?
It's like, how is this possible?
Every year showing up to camp in the best shape of your life. I mean, it seems to be more and more accurate with today's generation of athletes. But I mean, in my generation, this would be about the time now, okay, I better start skating close to every day during the week. Earlier in the summer, maybe it's once or twice, but then you start cranking it up. In regards to traveling to your whatever city you're playing in, I think it varies a lot.
Okay.
Depends on leadership. It depends on management. I know sometimes it's not technically legal, right?
The captain skates.
Yeah,
right?
the captain skates. So the GM or the coach will talk to the captain, who will talk to the guys and give everyone a gentle little nudge on, when to come in.
So what is that conversation actually like where, let's just, in your own situation, Shane Doan drops a message. He's a team captain. And I don't know if this actually did happen. It's just an example. And he says, hey, Schlemmer, a lot of the fellas are coming back this weekend, and we're going to start getting on the ice ahead of actual camp starting in 3 weeks' time. Like, is that the type of thing where you can say, like, I'm actually still kind of going with my own group up here in Edmonton? And does the older you get give you more leeway on that type of thing once you have a family and kids and stuff? Whereas if you are and Matt Savoy's unique because he's from here, but if you're a Matt Savoy type player, you get that text from your captain, like, you better be booking your ticket to go wherever you need to go that afternoon.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you nailed it there.
I'm curious about these things as being so oblivious to them, where like really only the people that can weigh in on it are guys like you that have gone through it. So I'm always curious.
Depending on what kind of city you're in too, right? Like I remember my 1 year before my first kid was born, I was down in Phoenix real early because we're gonna have the baby.
Right.
And I'm skating with like Donor and a few other pro guys, but like the rest of the guys skating with us were brutal.
Oh,
they were not good skates, right? So I mean, I think it's different being in Phoenix than to be in like Toronto or something where you're gonna have really good skates either way.
Yeah. The collection of talent hanging around is probably on the higher side for off season hangouts. I would assume.
So I mean, I think that might have a factor too. There's a lot of different NHL guys that are from certain cities where skates are good, and you could go early and have great skates. Where in my situation in Arizona was not quite like that.
It's like, it's good to get back on the ice. That's
I just couldn't wait for the boys to show up.
Yeah, your big takeaway. So for the Oilers specifically, then their longest off season in several years, right? As a first round playoff exit. We've seen in years past where even despite the short offseason, the captain skates are starting and everybody's fired up to get back at it because there's that little bit of bad taste in your mouth how the previous season had ended in the result of, cup final losses. Would you envision that type of attitude again this season? And it's a new head coach, obviously with Mike Babcock coming in as well, where they are back at it locally with the vast majority of the team all in on it pretty early? Or did they kind of, say, listen, this is our first longer offseason. Let's try and take advantage of that for every second that it's worth.
I think they're going to come in early. Yeah. I think, especially with new staff and everything. I think it was the first trip they had to the finals, right? That was the year that everyone came in early.
Like the following fall.
It was the following fall. It wasn't before the first one?
Wasn't it when they lost in the cup final and then like game 7, then that coming fall, everyone was here like a month plus ahead of training.
Okay. I thought it was
timeline.
Before,
you could very well be right. But that's just how my memory remembers it. Donovan, you have any recollection on that?
I think you're right.
Who's right? Me or Schlemmer?
I think you're right.
Okay.
Duke.
Okay.
Brando. I don't fully remember
I'm
it
sure
either.
Our texters will tell us.
Somebody will remember it.
They will remember this too.
For me, it was leading into that first
berth
in the Stanley Cup final. So I can see them trying to emulate that.
Yeah.
Have a complete refocus here. You got a new staff, a new vision, and I don't see why they wouldn't all want to come in early and get to work.
Get to work. And the new coach element, I think, does provide a different dynamic where, as you said, not officially a practice, but is there a situation where the coaching staff, whether it be DJ Smith or Babcock, are sending some text down the line to McDavid and Draisaitl and company saying, here's some drills we'd like you guys to run, whether they be prudent to the new systems they're putting in place or ideologies that the new staff is going to kind of, imbue on this team?
I don't think really structurally in the captain skates.
Okay.
But I do think that the guys taking part in those skates are going to be well aware that there's a new staff, and maybe there might be a coach sitting in the stands watching, and it might feel like a little more like a tryout or training camp than the normal captain skate would.
Yeah. And the big thing that, we've kind of been starting to buzz around a little more Oilers and hockey talk as we've rolled through the part of August here, because it is still a month away. But listen, we're in Edmonton. That's what everybody wants to focus in on. And some of the real sticking points amongst those we've talked to and the text we've got are around like this bottom six battle, because there's a lot of bodies and only a couple spots, the back end of the defense, and then this three-headed goaltending system that they're going to kind of run. And these do all on paper seem like things that do get sorted out through training camp and preseason, even with the shortened version of it that we're getting this year with the introduction of the 84 game schedule. So we'll maybe touch on that in a little bit more of our open spots as the morning progresses here. But we're going to talk some golf actually coming up next. The CPKC Women's Open at the Royal Mayfair. Have you played Mayfair?
I have not played the Mayfair, but I am going on Friday.
Are you really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll send you a text. I'm planning on popping by after this, before the Elks game, after we're done the show on Friday. So I'm going to try and thread that needle a little bit. I'll drop you a note and see if we can link up out there. I'm going down today to catch some of the Pro-Am and then hopefully most of tomorrow afternoon's round as well. So the director of the tournament director Brian Newton will be our guest here. When we return on the Tom Gazzola Show, Brandon Douglas, David Schlemko, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, and the great Cam Tate all in studio. Brian Newton right after the break here. Watch the show. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
Cougar Paint and Collision is Edmonton's go-to for auto body repairs, but client requests sometimes go off the rails.
Once you start doing the oddball things for people, it sometimes becomes second nature. One of the strangest things that we painted at the shop was a set of stairs for a mansion, and we had to paint 42 steel stringer stairs. Yeah, it was strange. Somebody doesn't think to go, wow, I need my stairs painted. Let's go to an auto body shop.
Cougar Paint and Collision. Our family helping your family.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today. Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Need an excuse to upgrade your ride? Well, we got a few to share. Go Auto has over 18,000 new and used vehicles ready to test drive right now. With more than 70 locations, your perfect match could be closer than you think. A family-friendly SUV for soccer practice, a fuel-sipping commuter, or a hardworking truck that's ready for anything. Trusted brands and a team that's actually happy to help. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
So how was your game? Great game. Great game. Had a tough back 40.
You mean the back 9?
Yeah, that. Had this one hole with a wicked cat's paw.
Dog leg?
And I sharked it into the sandbox.
You shanked it into the sand trap.
Sounds exciting. It was.
You don't have to be a golfer to enjoy a great meal at Colonial Bar and Grill at Colonial Golf Club. But if you do want to enjoy a round, the greens are great. Only 5 minutes from Edmonton and Beaumont. Colonial Golf Club. For more details and to book, visit colonial.ca.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas, happy to be sitting in for Tommy G as he's down in Calgary, helping out at the Gretzky hockey camp, hockey school, maybe both. Ty Gretzky, a good buddy of Tommy's, so very nice of him to go lend a hand with tying skates, pushing pucks around, and maybe even demonstrating some drills.
Maybe a couple of beers.
Can't see it. Can't see it. Not Tom. Not Tom. He's too professional. This show is brought to you by Bet365. Canada just hit the biggest home run of the summer. Bet365 is available in Alberta and here to stay. Download the app. Must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Just patiently awaiting the arrival of Brian Newton, the CPKC Women's Open Championship tournament director here. And we'll link up with him to discuss the event down at the Royal Mayfair this week. Pretty loaded field, Schlemmer. Like you look at
Nellie's in there.
Nellie's in there. World number one.
She's
coming to Edmonton.
Probably like one of the nicest golf swings in the world, male or female.
Yeah,
I think
it's silky. It's just it's awesome. So let's welcome in Brian Newton to the Tom Gazzola Show. Brian, good morning. Brandon Douglas, David Schlemko with you today. Appreciate you taking some time as the Pro-Am underway from the Royal Mayfair. Thanks a lot for hopping on today.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
So, Brian, Royal Mayfair hosting this year's event, and you're first at the helm. You've got an extensive history with both Golf Canada and Hockey Canada. Let's just start there in terms of you as tournament director getting this thing all up and moving to come to Edmonton this year. What's that experience been like for you on a personal level, and how excited are you to be hosting this event in our capital region?
Yeah, it's been an amazing year. The support of the whole city of Edmonton, whether that's the city themselves, Explore Edmonton, volunteers, fans. As you kind of listed off my resume there, I've run an event in almost every city in Canada. And I swear I'm not just saying this. Edmonton does events better than absolutely anyone. It's really incredible.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's tough to disagree with you. We look at the list of things that have come through here and the level of successes they have achieved. So this is a great get for the city, as well as I'm sure we're excited to be hosting it. To take us into this great field of golfers that's come out, and what goes into garnering that field. Is there any motivation needed to sometimes convince some of the top players across the LPGA to make the trip out to different places in Canada for this type of event?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're one of the, unique events that moves around every year. So that can be a challenge for players that they got to learn a new golf course every year. But I think the players actually really love that. And the experience that CPKC provides to the players is one of the greatest on tour, from clubhouse amenities and gifting and all those sorts of small things that go a long way with the players. That really helps us have a great field year in, year out.
So let's talk about the Mayfair. How are the conditions, and how low do you think these ladies can go out there?
Ooh, well, conditions are pretty tough. Like as it would be no surprise to anybody, the amount of rain that's come through this summer, the rough is very, very, very thick. I played about 10 days ago, and you could barely find a golf ball when you missed the fairway. So now these women hit the fairway a lot more than I do. So that won't be too hard on them. But yeah, no, the conditions should be pretty tough if we get a dry weekend and the course can firm up a little bit, and we'll see how low they can go. It is hard to stop the world's best from going low at any time.
Brian Newton, the CPKC Women's Open Tournament Director, join us here on the Tom Gazzola Show. Brandon Douglas, David Schlemko in this morning. So now to take us into the course layout a little bit, were there any adjustments that were needed to be made to accommodate the event? Switching of holes, things to make it a little bit more fan friendly for those coming down to take in the event, and just as a setup for maybe those that have been to the Mayfair before to play or something like that if they're going down to view this week.
Yeah, so what we've done is we've actually flipped the 9 holes. So if you were to play Mayfair on any given day, their front 9s are back 9 and vice versa. That's because the size of the event and the infrastructure that we put up, notably around our 18th hole, is much better suited on the club's 9th hole than it is on their 18th hole. So yeah, we've made that change. So it'll be a bit of a unique layout for fans who might be familiar with Royal Mayfair's normal operations.
And so I want to dive back into the field a little bit here, and starting with the crowning jewel of Brooke Henderson, defending champion, 2-time winner of this event, and an ambassador for the CPKC as well. It's obviously a great get to have her come out. What does it mean to the tournament to have Canada's one of the best women to ever do it from our side of the border here this week?
Yeah, absolutely. Brooke has meant so much to the tournament in her. Over 10 years on tour right now. The growth of the CPKC Women's Open is really directly tied to her success and how much Canadians love her.
Mm-hmm. So outside of Brooke Henderson, are there any other Canadians we should be watching that could contend?
Absolutely, yeah. We have 15 Canadians in the field this week. Anna Wang is 17-year-old from Vancouver. She has now won 4 times on the Ladies European Tour in the last year. She'll have a great opportunity to contend. Aphrodite Dang, a 16-year-old amateur who last year at the Women's Open finished T20 in Toronto. That was the highest finish of an amateur since Lydia Ko in 2013. So yeah, and beyond that, we have such a great roster of young Canadian women who are teeing it up this week.
Yeah, as you mentioned, 15 Canadians, and I remember watching Aphrodite Dang last year. Is like, when you have a player that young capture the spirit of the country and cheering her on, it's pretty exciting. So interested to see how she'll fare this week. And then the non-Canadian field. I mean, world number 1, Nelly Kortacum, and Schlemmer was just waxing poetic about one of his favorite golfers to watch on the ladies tour, how silky her swing is. Hey, no playing favorites or anything, of course, but you have to think coming in as the ranked number 1, is she the favorite to come away with the crown at the end of this weekend?
Yeah, I think that one's pretty safe to say. Obviously, golf tournaments are hard to win, but she's been the most dominant golfer in the world, woman or man this year. 4 wins, 2 majors. So, yes, she is absolutely her favorite going in.
And we're chatting with Brian Newton from the CPKC Women's Open. He's a tournament director. Now, we talk so much when the RBC Men's Canadian Open gets played every year, and it rotates too, but it seems to almost only get played out in Ontario. Now, on the women's side of things, it was in Calgary a couple of years ago, obviously here in Edmonton this season. What's the real difference, in your opinion, Brian, about why the LPGA can manage to get these premier Canadian events out to our side of the country, whereas on the men's side, they seem to really remain centralized down in Ontario?
Yeah, it's a real combination of things, from the date of the tournament. Our men's open is played in early June. It would be very difficult to play a professional level event in early June in many parts of the country. CPKC being our title sponsor of the event, for those who aren't familiar, CPKC is now Canadian Pacific Railway. So having a rail company as your title sponsor helps you move around the materials and get set up and whatnot. So that's a huge factor as well. So yeah, there's just a combination of factors. The setup of an LPGA Tour event is still slightly smaller than a PGA Tour event. So there's a lot of great courses. Mayfair is a great example that they'd have a very hard, if not impossible, time to accommodate the needs of a PGA Tour event. But it's a perfect venue for an LPGA Tour event.
Right on. So, how much of an effect does having an LPGA Tour event like this have at the grassroots level for female golf in Edmonton? Do you guys have a bunch of stuff going on for the amateurs, or how does that all work?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had youth clinics throughout the week. But, when you look at the impact of the CPKC Women's Open and the grassroots, it is those 15 Canadians in the field this week. Like, I've been kind of using the phrase that the Brooke generation is here. We have this great crop of men on the PGA Tour right now who all grew up watching Mike Weir. Now we have this crop of young women coming up who all grew up watching Brooke Henderson, and that next generation is here and rising to the top of the world in both the amateur and the young pro ranks. So that's really where the event has the greatest impact on the grassroots and the generation of tomorrow playing.
Now, for the fans or the patrons, if we're touring from Augusta's books, that are making their way down to the Mayfair this week, myself and Schlemmer included, Brian, what can they expect from an entertainment value outside of the golf? Or do you guys kind of make an event out of it for the week here, starting with today's Pro-Am?
Absolutely, yeah. So much more than just a golf tournament. CPKC invests heavily in the family experience on site with the family zone, so there's lots for kids to do. Kids 12 and under all get in free to the event, so it's an amazing event to bring the whole family out to. And then we have experiences, for people of all ages. There's the Matt and Steve Caesar deck right beside the putting green. I can't talk about the event without talking about the rink hole, the hole that we bring some Canadiana and put up some hockey boards. That'll be our 17th hole of the event. So yeah, there is something for absolutely everyone to do at the event.
And so you mentioned the rink hole. That's all, I would think being borrowed from, of course, the men's one. Any local celebrities you need to man that hole for a while? Because I hear Schlemmer's probably got nothing to do. He can sit there and rip a few pucks to impress all the passerbys.
Sure, come on down. We'll put the marshals on that hole, wear ref jerseys. So we'll put a ref jersey on and get you out there.
I'd rather just be watching banging on the boards, I think.
Awesome. You got anything left there, Schlemmer, you wanted to throw Brian's way?
Not really, no.
Yeah. Well, Brian, I gotta say, we're really excited. I'm trying to kind of pump this up the past couple of days, and even the weeks leading into this. It is so special for Edmonton to get a host an event of this caliber, and I think we've already got tons of text messages coming in here about people that are making their way down. Our buddy Beerman says he's slinging drinks there over the course of the week. So I know personally, I'm excited to make my way down over a number of times over the next handful of days. Can't thank you enough for your time, and best of luck. We'll look forward to hopefully running into you down at the Mayfair over the next handful of days.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We look forward to seeing you here.
You bet. Brian Newton, CPKC Women's Open Tournament Director here on the Tom Gazzola Show. Pretty cool. And the rink hole, I think, is a fun element that maybe overdue. Have they done that in the past at the women's? I don't remember seeing it promoted as much as I have leading into this year. If they did have it.
I don't think you would have seen it on Sports Center or something, right?
Did you? I don't know if you caught. They had it on social media. They had a number of the golfers for the week doing the of course obligatory Canadian food taste test.
No,
and in particular Edmonton thing. So I think the green onion cakes was a big one, some donaires and stuff, and pretty positive for the most part over the variety of women that were testing these things out. Nice. If you had to pick one specific food, and I'll even go further, from a specific restaurant that you were saying to sell Edmonton's food scene, what would you be putting
Oh, God, that's tough, man.
It is tough.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that one for a while. A restaurant. Like when I think Northern Alberta, I think like pierogies. I think Ukrainian.
Yeah, we're here in the garlic curtain. We're beyond it. We got
like my wife's from Southern Alberta, right? So that's her favorite thing about living up here is like every wedding has pierogies.
Really? Hey? Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I have to think. I'd probably put forth a double Ryan Ginger from Cook County Saloon.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. That fits.
It fits perfectly. Awesome. Well, a big thanks to Brian for hopping on. They're very busy. They're underway. Nelly Corda teed off at 8:30. I think Brooke was at about 8:10 this morning for the Pro-Am. And the rest of the week, or tomorrow's tee times are posted. We can I'll bring that up and get anybody updates on it if they are interested when the tournament officially tees off tomorrow. Like I said, weather looking really nice. Chance of rain tomorrow, I think, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday highs are like near 30. Ooh, so it should be beautiful down there. And I've never even been to the Mayfair.
I haven't either.
So I'm pumped to go and actually check out the course along with watching the golf that's being played by these world-class female athletes. So when we come back, we're going to go in or out. Donovan's cooked himself up another banger list today. Not sure if it'll be as contentious as yesterday, but that's the great thing about in or out. You never really know. It's Tom Gazzola Show. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tommy G this week. We got David Schlemko co-hosting, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, and Cam Tate all in studio. A very busy morning for us at the station. The show is brought to you by Bet365. Watch it. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Hey, Edmonton, thinking about your next SUV? Think Subaru. The Subaru Forester has earned an IIHS top safety pick or higher for 20 years in a row. Add legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and the 2026 JD Power Canada Best Residual Value Award among compact SUVs, and you've got an SUV that's built to protect today and hold its value tomorrow. This month, take advantage of loyalty rates as low as 0.99%. Come test drive the Forester at your local Subaru dealership today. Welcome to Uncommon.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show. Happy Wednesday to you. Show brought to you by Bet365. Brandon Douglas, David Schlemko, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, and Cam Tate all in studio. And at some point soon, I have to assume young Connor the intern will also be joining us. We'll be out of chairs in the studio. Packed. Yeah, the good news, Cam says he brings his own. So that's very friendly of him. Very kind. He's always thinking of others. That's what's great about Cam Tate. Mentioned it before the break about some of the tee times for tomorrow's opening round of the CPKC down at Mayfair. Brooke Henderson set to tee off at 121 at hole number 1, and then Nelly Corda, world number 1, as one of the other big names on it. She is at 817 at tee number 10, which, as we just heard from Brian, is the usual hole number 1. And she'll be playing with Gabby Lopez, another ranked player on the LPGA. So that seems like a pretty good group number 16. Let's get to in or out. And it's brought to you by the Oilers Nation Golf Tournament. There are 5 foursomes left. 5. Get them while you can. Make a team and register to play on Friday, August 28th at Mill Woods. Loads of prizes, competitions, and fun, all in support of Gregor's Grads. Sign up at nationexperiences.ca.
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Donnie, what do we got today?
First up, fellas, only one California team will make it into the NHL's playoffs.
Oh, the NHL playoffs. I didn't say NFL playoffs. One team out of Cali. Well, there's three. I'm going to be out. I think two. Two will
I wonder why.
Well, I understand the Ducks have not had a very good offseason. The defense is looking particularly suspect. From you got Jackson Lacombe, and it's like, okay,
and the boys.
What else do we have? Well, keep in mind Pavel Minchkov signed a huge contract, which means he's really good. And after that, it'll be a little bit more plug and play with some young. They're going to ask a lot out of some of their younger guys, Tristan Luneau, Tyson Hines, and they signed. Don't forget Nick Jensen, Danish legend,
game breaker.
But I still do firmly believe that the Ducks are a playoff team in the Pacific Division. I strongly think that. I think the Kings still are too. I think Kenny Holland has done just enough again to re-up this veteran core. You bring in guys like Matt Zuccarello. Obviously, Panarin's back there. The biggest question is, can Byfield be number one center? And I think San Jose is still just outside.
Okay.
Just outside looking in. Is there a world where I can see the Sharks in and the Kings out, depending on how the season plays? Yeah, I actually could. But I think Anaheim's a surefire team in the Pacific. And then after that, it might be up to the Kings and Sharks to duke it out for the wild card spot.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be out as well. I think there's just as good of a chance that all three make it as one.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I know Anaheim's been taking bullets all summer, but at the end of the day, they're still a really good team. And
I would agree.
And they're a young team that is going to keep getting better. So maybe are they messing with their salary cap and all the contracts? Yeah, that's off the ice. I think they'll be fine. The Sharks, I think, are going to take another step and just barely get in. I agree they could be just on the outside looking in, but I'm going to be optimistic with them. LA's the one team that's kind of hit or miss for me.
Yeah,
I don't really know what the plan is there. It doesn't seem like a plan for the future.
Oh God, no. And it's almost kind of a shame because I do still think Quentin Byfield's a really good player.
Yeah, me too.
This was a huge test for him. There's no more safety net.
Right.
You're the number one center.
Kopi's gone.
Kopitar is gone. You have to now take every tough matchup. You're the number one guy. You're expected to produce at a substantially higher pace than you have so far, which has been solid and fine. And the flashes are there that it's still so tantalizing. He's great. Number 2 overall pick formerly. And then Brant Clark on the back end. I still think there's a little bit of refining to come in his game. Obviously, on the defensive side, he's a little bit of a stallion that can roam a little too free at times. But they're kind of trusting him to be the de facto number 1 guy back there too, because Drew Doughty, God love him, Hall of Famer, he can't handle that load anymore. And then the rest of the D-core is on the older side, frankly, a little bit on the slower side for the most part too. So the King, and then you boil it down to the goaltending in LA. Darcy Kemper was a Vezina finalist 2 years ago, and last year lost the starting job essentially. So
they're still a hard team to play against. It's a hard building to go in and get a win. It's a grind.
It absolutely is. So I guess we're both out, Don. So what's are you specific on what one team you think will be in? Okay,
it is the LA Kings.
Okay.
It is the LA Kings.
Donovan's
bold prediction. I love it.
It is the LA Kings for me. It's just they're the most complete roster out of that crew. I think the second best chance to make it's the Sharks. I think your Ducks. This is not an attack, Duke. I just think so. You look at the goals against the 5 worst teams in terms of goals against last year: the Canucks, the Leafs, the Sharks, the Ducks, the Panthers. The Ducks with a good D group last year were the 4th worst team in goals against last year.
So what made it so good?
By the sounds of it, Donovan, you're kind of making my point for me. In football, if your team leads the league in sacks, are you bringing back the exact same offensive line the next year? Probably not. The Ducks, not very good at playing defense last year. Bring in a bunch of new defense.
But it's not. It's not all on the D. It's the way they play and the chances they give up in transition.
They play incredibly run and gun, and it was so up and down. So that's where my biggest question with them lies: is can Quenneville in year 2 start like he kind of turned them all loose last year and said it's okay to make mistakes. This is learning. It's kind of what he did in Chicago, if we remember right. And then they turn into a little bit more of a complete team. Now that's easier to do when you've got Brent Seabrook and Duncan Keith on your back end, but Jackson Lacombe is very good.
Yep.
Very good. So you've got your number one guy. It really is just a matter of can the whole team buy in to make life easier on this, what's going to be a very young D-core, and then not ask Dostal to make 10 bell saves on every 2-on-1, 3-on-1 that comes up the ice.
You also have him.
He's good.
Right.
He's very good. So
my bold prediction, they gave up the most goals in the league this year. I think they're going to need to score 7 goals a game to win. That's an exaggeration.
They can do it.
I think
That's
they are
bold. That's a bold take.
I think they're going to give up the most goals in the league. I think that defense is
as
just
the text
bad.
as the text came in yesterday, Schlemmer. There's hot takes, there's cold takes, and there's Donovan takes.
I love it.
Number 2, fellas, the Oilers, they're going to sign at least 1 PTO.
You go ahead, Schlemmer.
That's kind of a tough one because normally you'd say yes. I think it's a great option to bring in a veteran guy on a PTO, but like there's a lot of mud in the water as far as like the bottom 6 go and the forwards, the bottom 2 spots on D. There's already 4 guys duking it out for those. I don't really see why unless there's some guy that they really love.
So here's a list of some guys that are still UFAs out there. Patrick Laine, maybe the highest upside, but he still is 28, but pretty one-dimensional. Kevin Hayes, Vander Kane, Vlad Tarasenko, Michael Bunting, David Perron. Did he officially retire?
I don't know. I don't remember on
John Klingberg, Nick Leddy on the back end as well. When I look at that list of names, nothing's jumping out. And like they already have more bodies than they need. They're already going to have to make some pretty tough decisions. So could I still see them bringing some in on a PTO and almost like a Chris Versteeg situation where he then goes and signs somewhere else? Maybe, but you have a smaller sample size to get a look at the players you have with a shorter preseason. Are you really going to give some of those looks to a guy that you don't really envision having a spot on this roster? I'm out on this.
Yeah, I don't really see it. The one guy off that list, though, Tarasenko, I think could be a fit.
Just would he come here?
Pure shooter. I was just going to say, I don't see a Russian coming to Edmonton on a PTO.
Maybe he's good friends with Silly Vasily.
Never know.
Never know.
That usually helps.
Oh, it's like at least one in, right? To so when you're there for a camp or something, it's like at least I'm not just totally wandering in the wilderness by myself. Right?
Oh, that makes a big deal for sure for those guys, especially if you don't speak like good English.
Right.
I'm sure Tarasenko does by now, but
you would hope.
You'd think.
The idea behind this was some competition for Josh Szymanski and just not giving him that 4th line center spot. So my thought process was either a guy like David Kampf, who's still out there, doesn't exactly jump off the page at you, but competition, or a guy like Luke Glendening. I get he's 37, however, still unbelievable
really
face-off man.
Yeah.
Still very good defensively. The Babcock guy.
I see where you're coming from there, Donovan. But if I'm laying it on the table, I would envision more because of how many bodies they have. I think that they will ask internally guys to compete for that spot. Do they see if Trent Frederick can play center again? Do they see if Colton Dock can play center, which he has at times in his career? Like the NHL level is very different. We know that, no doubt. Like even a guy like Janmark, if he wants to stay on this team, are they going to try and ask him to take another role in the 4th-line center spot? It's just a pure numbers game to me that I can't see it happening.
It's going to be an interesting training camp.
Very, very much.
Definitely.
So. 3rd off the list here, fellas, the Oilers defense. I know a lot of fans believe it is improved. I think it still has too many question marks coming into the season.
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot of question marks, I guess, but I don't think it's a bad problem that they have. I think the top 4 is pretty set in stone, and then you got a lot of competition for that 3rd pairing. Now, I was going to save this for closer to camp, but I guess I'll
lay it out there.
I'll make a bold prediction too. I think that Alec Regula is someone that no one is talking about, and he's going to come in and have a hell of a camp and give these guys a bunch of headaches.
David Schlemko loves Alec Regula.
I do. I think He's got a lot of upside, man.
I agree. And we talked about this, you, Kevin, and I, when he was playing NHL games last year. Like, there's just like, he has that certain it factor that a guy like Ty Emerson just doesn't. Like, and it's more so with the puck,
It's
right?
just like that poise with the puck that you just can't teach.
And so it's a matter of, has
he's got
the time since improved in some of the other areas where he was lacking to make this really, because so if you're talking Slammer, the top four, Bouchard and Ekholm, you know, I still think is your top pairing.
Yeah.
Who knows, as the year progresses, they try Ekholm somewhere else, we'll see. And then Connor Murphy, and listen, you're paying Jake Wallman $7 million. They want him to be the top four guy.
You better be if you're paying him that much.
When you bring in Ryan Shea, that to me pretty much locks him in as your third spot, maybe second pairing at times, left side guy. So you've got Spencer Stastny, Shakir Mukhamadullin, Ty Emerson, and Alec Regula all competing for essentially one regular spot and one seventh defenseman spot.
Right. I think that's a good call. Shea's got the big contract. He's in there no matter what.
I think there's a reason they brought him in. They want him in there to kill penalties every night. He was one of the very best in the league at that last year, and the Oilers' penalty kill was not very strong, as we know. So I think he's, barring, like, unless his play takes a huge downward spiral, he's in there every night, no matter what. They got Mukhamadullin for a reason in that Nurse trade.
That's the one wild card for me, because I don't know anything about this kid.
Yeah, he's still a little bit of, and so to your question, Donovan, are there a lot of question marks? I think there's kind of really only one, and it's who's playing the sixth spot. And is it a guy that plays there every night, or is it a pretty constant carousel of guys in and out there? And more importantly, who's in Bakersfield? They're not carrying. Are they going to carry 8 D-men?
Can you when you're carrying 3 goalies?
Well, you can if you don't want to have any extra forwards.
Yeah, I guess.
Exactly right. So it's I'm probably out, because I think the defense is there are question marks about, can Jake Wallman bounce back after a poor year?
That's the point, right?
Is Ryan Shea
legit
solid enough to but like third pairing guy, if that's what he needs to be. The better question, or the bigger question to me, would be, if Wallman continues to struggle or be a little too erratic, can Shea play second pairing minutes alongside Connor Murphy? Which, personally, that's how I see things fleshing out. I think Ryan Shea and Connor Murphy match up as a very good second pairing on this team.
So that means Jake Wallman's going to be in trouble here.
Well, in some, like,
you don't want to be paying your third pairing guy 7 sheets.
Well, if you're only paying your entire second pairing $8 million,
I suppose
you can stomach it, right? Like, they've made enough good decisions elsewhere. Like that Murphy contract, I'm just a huge fan of his game. That I think that's going to be an absolute darling deal for at least the first few years of it. You know, we'll see come years 4 and 5 where the team's at. But I'm still going to be out, Donovan, because I don't know if there's the question marks are maybe there, but they're kind of small. They're not big glaring ones to me.
To me, when you have that many question marks, it's a bad thing. Because Jake Wallman's a massive question mark. Can he bounce back? Ryan Shea is a question mark of, is he actually legit? He's had one good season in the NHL. I think he is legit, but it's a question mark. You paid him the 5-year deal, right? That's a question mark. Mukhamadullin, that's a question mark, because he really very small sample size. Was he actually pretty good in San Jose for how shaky they were defensively last year? Yeah, he was pretty good for them, obviously, but he's dealt with injuries. Alec Regula, as you mentioned, Schlemmer, he's still a question mark, though.
Yep.
Right? Spencer Stastny's a question mark. Now, do I think he's going to play? No. But there's just a lot of questions that I have for how this is going to shake out. And usually in the NHL and in sports, when you have that many questions, it's kind of a bad thing.
But I mean, we're just talking about mostly the third pairing of the D. Like, I would think,
but also the second pair, right?
Like,
if Shea and Wallman, if both things go poorly.
But that's the point of having depth in your organization, is that you're not, if Jake Wallman plays, but you're not all of a sudden turning to Spencer Stastny to be your second pairing guy. Like, you've got several options in front of him, probably including Mukhamadullin, if we're being very frank. Like, a guy like that will get a look to eat up more minutes, I would expect, then Stastny, then Regula, then Emerson, just because and Emerson, we've seen him play both sides a little bit, but I don't know. I'm curious about Schlemmer's thing about Regula.
He's the only one that's on a 2-way out of all those guys, right?
Yep.
So that could make some things pretty interesting if he has a great camp.
They have a similar problem at forward, where the guys that are on 2 ways are Szymanski and Howard.
Right.
No one else.
Yeah.
Well, except Savoy, but
yeah,
he's
good.
I think he's okay. So.
He's locked and loaded. Number 4 here, fellas. The NFL, after the kind of rash of injuries yesterday and, well, over the whole really preseason in general and camps in general, the NFL needs to get rid of their joint practices.
I'm so out on this. There's something about going up against somebody that isn't your teammate, like in drills and things. You got to hit somebody else. You got to hit somebody new. You got to block somebody new. And I think it is in the best interest of the teams. Injuries happen when you're practicing against your own team. They happen when you're walking around the field, non-contact situation. And the bonus of this is that it gives us the fun in situation like the Cowboys and Saints yesterday, where a brawl breaks out. Like, it doesn't affect me. I'm just a viewer, a spectator. I think that's awesome. A little competitive spirit. Now, sometimes we see fights break out amongst teammates in training camp too. We saw Kirk Cousins and Max Crosby get into it a little bit. Last week, there was one at Commanders practice. I might be mixing it up in my brain, but there was another one where teammates kind of get into each other's grill a little bit too. That's good, and I think that's okay at times, but there's just something about, hitting somebody else for a change rather than the same people for the better part of 3 weeks.
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I'm going to side with Donnie on this one. I don't see why it's that necessary.
You have the preseason for a reason.
You have preseason, man, where you get to go hit other players. I mean, just as a former player, there's a difference between like practicing against your teammate and there's like a level of respect that's probably not there when you're practicing against a guy on another team. I think it just brings in unnecessary possibility for injuries.
And you saw it yesterday with the Chargers starting center. Biadish goes immediately, knee injury. So his guard just basically shoves the oncoming rusher into his leg, and he goes down.
Is that a factor? Like, Donovan, what does that matter if it's a Chargers defensive player that the guard shoves into his center?
But it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. Like, there's a reason preseason exists.
Couldn't disagree with that more.
Well,
I kind of agree with Donnie. I think there's just a certain nastiness that would come out when you're going against a guy that's not a teammate.
I don't know. I think we've seen plenty of situations where you're going up against, like I said,
well, sure. Teammates still get fights. So, yeah, once in a while. I just think overall it's not necessary.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary risk.
I just think it's a better, like, if we want better football in the early season, like, and
okay, that's a fair point.
We've seen that, like, because nobody plays their starters in the preseason games and stuff like that, the early first couple weeks of the NFL are incredibly sloppy. And it can be entertaining, sure, but if we want to see better football, then things like this are conducive to that for me, in my eyes.
Okay, that's a better argument. I can get on board with that.
So it and also I just don't necessarily buy that because they're up against opponents that the chance of injury is exponentially higher.
I know I would be going a little bit harder against a guy that wasn't my teammate.
What if it's a guy that you know?
Well, then that'd be different. But
we're in today's age of sports, like, everybody's buddy. How many really?
Not that much.
I don't know.
Come on.
In baseball,
it's practice.
Football,
it's practice.
It's a little different vibe.
A lot of chirping that goes on in a football field. I don't think they're quite as buddy.
We're talking practice.
Lastly, fellas, today we talk about these ridiculous national days. National Potato Day. I'm saying the best potato is the double stuffed slash twice baked.
Twice baked, yeah.
Okay.
You go ahead, Slimer.
I do like a twice baked. So that's pretty good. I think my favorite potato that I've gone to in the last few years is like a roasted potato and duck fat. It's
really
money.
Where do you get your duck fat?
From the butcher.
You just go in there, like, can I have a vat of duck fat?
Well, they got like a little frozen thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I was unaware of that. That's a great show. And our boy Connor Halley, he's raising, like, you just go and buy the bag of little mini potatoes, you dice them, you like stick them in the air fryer, and just like he's not going duck fat thing, but it's like so simple, and they actually are so good. And actually, that version of like breakfast potatoes, after you're done cooking your bacon or your ham and stuff, then you just get the kind of cubed or whatever potatoes in the frying pan.
Oh,
and get them nice and crispy on each side. That's really good. That's really good. I'm out on this. I really, and the double stuffed twice baked is definitely better than the original iteration of just the baked potato, which is a staple for me growing up. Every small town hall event, every cabaret dinner, hockey banquet, 4-H banquet, it's you got your lineup, you got the roast at the end, and then the whole big silver bowl of the potatoes wrapped in the tin foil. The fact you can dress them up as much as you do, sour cream, some chives, bacon bits, that's all great. But it's so inconvenient. Like, God, burn your hands getting out of the tin foil. They're not always cooked all the way through, so you get some harder parts. So the twice baked does remedy some of that. But I love whipped potatoes or even just like a really creamy mashed potatoes for sure. And actually, if I had to be completely honest, I think my favorite is probably scalloped potatoes.
Really?
I love scalloped potatoes. I think they're unreal.
Okay. I'm not a huge scalloped potato guy.
And
it's a great show.
I mean, French fries too.
For what, French fries?
Forget about French fries.
I was a big adversary to the waffle fry movement, but I've actually kind of come around on it a little bit.
Really?
The key to the waffle fry is they got to be closer to being overcooked than undercooked. The crispier, the better.
Soggy.
The crispier, the better. And that's been a big tipping point for me there. But fries, potato chips, I'll take that over a twice baked potato.
Fair.
Not necessarily as maybe my side at my steak dinner. It's like, just bring me a bag of Old Dutch salt and vinegars, please. Shake them out on the table.
Perfect.
Pretty good.
There's just so many great ways to have a potato.
Yeah.
It's really hard to choose one.
It's the most versatile side, right?
Yeah.
Like scalloped potatoes, those are definitely up there. Garlic mash, it's a classic for a reason. I mean, some people are chiming with tater tots.
Hash browns.
I've been doing mashed potatoes a lot lately too. Are you kind of like
for breakfast or for any?
No, for like dinner. You like
really
parboil them and you smash them down like some.
Then you get a crunch
garlic butter and some cheese at the end. They're pretty money.
That does sound good. Now I'm hungry, Don. Now I'm hungry. Now I know how Laddie always feels.
That guy can eat.
Just dreaming about potatoes. Yeah. At that sponsors dinner thing down at the taco shop, him and Eddie just crushing tacos.
They were doing work. Yeah.
And then Tater just crushing the churros at the end of the night. I think he had 6. Unbelievable. Good stuff, Donnie. An excellent edition of In or Out brought to you by the Oilers Nation Golf Tournament. Top of the hour, we'll have some open time. We will hear from Cam Tate in the 10 o'clock hour with today's edition of Cam and Eggs. Jess Myers from the Pioneer Press covering the Minnesota Wild will head down to the Lando Lakes and see what Minnie's outlook is like heading into this upcoming season. Before all that, a Sports 1440 update brought to you by All-Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunication, and street lighting. That's All-Star Construction. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Jays back in action today against the Tampa Bay Rays. Max Scherzer going for Toronto. Drew Rasmussen for the Rays. First pitch flying at 4:40. Other games around the majors, we got some morning and afternoon games as the Pirates hosting the Tigers. The Padres are in New York to battle the Mets. The Twins clash with the Braves. Again, Battle of Chicago as the White Sox travel cross side to the Cubs. The Red Sox hosting the D-backs just after 2 o'clock. Phillies and Marlins. The Yankees are in Baltimore. The Mariners look to bounce back after their 22-0 drubbing at the hands of the Brewers. Coming up next, we'll go to Minnesota in about 15 minutes time. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
It's time to hit the greens. Elevate your golf game with Country Club Tour Golf Academy. No matter your experience, our PGA of Canada teaching pros are here to help. Enjoy lessons year-round between our 7 CCT golf courses and 2 state-of-the-art indoor facilities. Choose the location convenient for you. We offer private lessons, group lessons, expert club fittings, and junior camps. Visit our website to learn more and get ready to take your game to the next level. Booking is easy. Go to countryclubtour.com/golf academy and schedule your lesson today.
Do you know why people love working at GS Construction? It's honest work. It's work that needs to be done. And we're really good at what we do. That's why GS Construction has been in business for over 50 years. We won't be wearing a top hat and tails, more like hard hat and boots, because we're heading underground to keep the water flowing in and out of your homes and businesses in Edmonton. GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and top men. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Think a quality golf cart is out of your budget? Think again. At the Golf Cart People, we have a fantastic selection of fully inspected, pre-owned carts starting at just $4,500. Choose from gas, electric, or lithium-ion power to fit your lifestyle. And the best part, every used cart comes with a 1-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why wait? Get the cart you've always wanted today. Visit the Golf Cart People. Find out more at golfcartpeople.com.
Legendary is here with BetMGM Casino. Download now to check out over 4,000 casino games, including exclusive slots like Survivor and hundreds of live dealer games. Unlock Vegas magic and sign up for the BetMGM app. See BetMGM.com for terms. 18 plus, Alberta only. Please play responsibly. Subject to eligibility requirements.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with the Alberta iGaming Corporation. Standard message and data rates may apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show. 60% talent, 40% Swedish hair cream. Edmonton's sports leader. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Just after 10 o'clock in Edmonton. Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Bet365. Check out Bet365's early payout for baseball. When your team goes up by 5 runs, you get paid out immediately. No stress about blowing a big lead. Download the app and see what early payouts all about. Schlemmer, the Jays are back in.
They are.
The circle of discussion here. They're worth talking about. Half a game out. It's very log jammed. They're tied with one team. The 3 teams in the final wildcard spot are tied across the board in a 3-way action. Are you back in on the Jays?
They have my attention.
Are you watching more than you were 3 weeks ago?
I am. Yeah, I'm following a lot closer. They have my attention. They cut a very favorable schedule to finish off the year here. I'm a believer again. You?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'm going next week.
All right.
So I'll be away. And actually, I do kind of maybe put that as a call to action to our listeners and to you. When I'm in Toronto, where are the spots I gotta go? And I like we're staying right by the park, so we're going to be pretty centralized in the downtown core. For is there a spot I need to go to have a bite to eat? Is there obviously the Hockey Hall of Fame is very high on my list of things to dip into and check out for a day or something. But in your experiences, are there any must dos while in the six?
Not really must dos, and I'm not good at this. Just to let you know, I'm not good at remembering restaurants or like places to go.
That's okay.
I used to drink a lot.
It should have been keeping a very detailed diary. Like this place had great Bellini.
Right? So I can tell you that downtown TO is a great place to hang out. You'll have no problem finding a place to go have a great meal, find a great vibe to have some drinks. You won't have to get in an Uber if you're staying by the ballpark.
That's kind of what we're looking forward to, right? Is to just like buzz around everywhere, get on a scooter, when applicable and things. And it's funny because I've never been to Toronto except the airport, just on some layovers and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, you're in for a treat.
I'm in for a treat. And then my extra benefit is that so I'm going with two buddies and the one buddy's wife, who I don't think she's been before, but the other two friends, they had went a couple of years ago.
Oh,
and then they kind of same thing, stayed downtown, went to the games. So they kind of have a little bit of a leg of experience to steer us in at least. We don't have to take as many gambles, I guess, on where to go because they know some good spots. But I do want to put that out to the listeners. Our text line, 1-833-414-1440. What should I be putting on my itinerary while I'm in Toronto, downtown-ish area? We are going to Niagara Falls the one day. We got a car rented to buzz down and take in that action, which I'm looking forward to. I think we're even going out on the boat.
Oh, wow. The whole experience.
Maybe we'll see someone get married out there, like in The Office.
Yeah. I went to Niagara Falls, actually, when I was in the area for Chipper's wedding.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And does it live up to the hype?
Yeah, it was cool.
It's cool. I'm a huge natural scenery and kind of wonders type guy, so I think I'll be.
I'm sure you'll love it.
I'm sure I will love it. But to the Jays themselves, Summer, like in your experience, and I've asked a few baseball people this last couple of days, like coming after a trade deadline as a pro athlete, even if you don't necessarily think you're going to be traded or your name's not out there a lot, is there still that little bit of like anxiety that exists inside you that like, unless you're Dylan Cease on the Blue Jays, like really anything could happen if the right offer comes along. So once that passes, the relief that you can feel, does that let you play a little more freely and kind of open things up a little bit more, which we've kind of seen from this team the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, it kind of depends on the personality of each individual player. Some guys play way better when they put that way more kind of pressure on themselves. Some guys play better when they're feeling loose. I don't know. Possible.
It is possible. They win last night over the Rays, a place that they do not win very often at the Trop. And now going in today, who's on the hill today, Donovan?
Mad Max.
Oh boy,
Max Scherzer.
You talk about a guy that likes putting the pressure on himself. How about Max Scherzer? Like, listen, nobody's mistaken him for a Cy Young candidate, but he is doing what the Jays need him to do here because they keep piling up injuries on the starter front. And they're like, we need you to actually go out there, like try and turn in at least 5 innings here. And he's been able to do it last few times out.
He's like the screaming definition of a gamer,
right?
That guy brings so much intensity, like so much passion to the game. I love watching him.
He's actually so funny. Every time you think he's done, like he should retire, he just comes up and has a resurgence again. Like he was so bad before the playoffs last year, and then he goes into the playoffs and it's just like vintage Max Scherzer. And he comes back from injury, and you're like, okay, Max Scherzer has been putrid. He's got an ERA around 10. Surely this is the end. He's got to retire after this season. And then he comes back, and Max Scherzer has just been 1 run, 2 runs, 1 run, 1 run.
He's given his team a chance.
Yeah.
Which when you're the Jays offense for 99% of the season, you can't give up more than 2 runs to give yourself a chance to win.
Which has been wild.
The difference has just been staggering.
Yeah.
Really, compared to last year. And then especially the most recent version of them we saw, which is in the playoffs, where like guys coming up in the clutch moments and things like that. And then this year, the complete opposite. Nobody can get a hit when they need it most. Runners stranded on base. The one game, it was a number they'd never achieved before, I think, in franchise history. But all this said, all the complaints we've had, all the hemming and hawing we've done about them, a half game out. And this text coming from Hot Salsa a little earlier. As of the standings today, Blue Jays are half card out of a playoff position wild card. Do they make it or not? Yes or no?
Well, yes. Definitely.
Who's saying no? That's
right.
Only haters. and once again, selfishly, on my personal front, we planned this trip much earlier this year, like back in May.
Yeah.
Right? We got it all booked and everything, and I ordered a couple Blue Jays jerseys. One of the players no longer plays for the team, unfortunately, which is great.
Is that
Dalton Varsho?
Oh, tough one.
So I'm going to try and trade it in when I get there. See if they'll take it 1-for-1. Trade it in for a Chucky McAdoo jersey.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. And what's great is where I bought it from was very official and regulated too. So
Yeah,
it'll be a clean exchange, no questions asked whatsoever. But who said no? Did someone not say no? We're talking to yesterday. Was it Colin?
Might have been Colin. I don't fully remember. I definitely didn't say that this is a ruse or a smoke screen or anything on Low Tide's show yesterday.
Yeah, Donovan.
I said nothing of the such.
Donovan's a total hater. He just loves to hate. All I wanted when we booked this trip, well, actually not even when we booked the trip, but as the season progressed, and it was like, this team's not very good this year.
Just want the game to matter.
Let the game matter. Like that's, and hey, wish granted. So unless they go 0-for-5 over their next handful here, and then they started this, they go for. I think I'm going to the last game against the Royals and the first two against the Mariners next week, which is get to see a couple different opponents, obviously. Now, the Mariners also suck. So and the Royals are terrible, but Bobby Witt Jr., hopefully he's playing in that game. That'll be cool to get to see. MVP caliber player. I would say Cal Raleigh, but he's terrible this year. So I'm looking forward to it, to say the least, and appreciate all the messages that have flooded in here as well with suggestions for me to take, and I'll have to write these down and make note of them. A couple other messages on the text line, 1-833-4 and 1440, coming off of Donovan's in or out topics today. Waddy in Cloverdale. We kind of forget the regular season got derailed by the Kane hit in game 2. It was a big hit. Did that, he played?
He still played after. I think, I don't know if that was really the problem. I think he just has some maturing to do as a player, where he puts the puck, how quickly he moves it. Just comes with experience.
Yeah. Husk says scallop potatoes are the best. E.g., Samwise said it best about potatoes. You a Lord of the Rings guy? I think we've said it before you or not. In the one movie, right? He says boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. What about second breakfast? That was Merry and Pippin, not Samwise, but I'm a big second breakfast guy. Especially the farm. You get up, have like a piece of toast, go out, milk cows, do all your chores, come back in like 10, 30, 11 and whip up eggs, bacon, and the whole shebang.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
That's like my daily.
Like you get a little bite to eat, run all the kids around and stuff, and then come back and treat yourself. You're running them out the door with a bowl of Fruity Pebbles, and you come back and full spread.
Oh, man, my kids are like 13 and 10. They're going to wake up till noon. Summertime. I'm cooking second breakfast for them.
You done your back-to-school shopping yet?
I don't do back-to-school shopping.
Come on. Just joking. Yeah, I can say with 100% honesty that my dad never once was a part of any of our back-to-school shopping trips.
No, I got two daughters. You think they want to go back to school shopping with their dad?
Yeah.
No.
You can bully your way through the lines. Just throwing some elbows. We'll step aside. When we come back, we're going to head down to Minnesota and talk about the Wild's offseason. Not a very wild offseason for the Wild, but certainly still one of the premier contenders inside the Central Division and the Western Conference. Jess Myers from the Pioneer Press covering the team will join us when we return here on the Tom Gazzola Show. Brandon Douglas, David Schlemko, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, Cam Tate, and Connor, the intern, young Connor, also in studio. It's a packed house here on the Gazzola Show, brought to you by Bet365.
Starting this Thursday, 3 days only. Don't miss the VIP Overstock sale at Wolf GMC Buick. They're seriously overstocked with over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. Explore the entire inventory right now. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. Plus, employee pricing continues. And during the VIP Overstock sale, stop in for even more special incentives. That's Thursday through Saturday at Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, A quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
Now's the time to shop the Bricks 0% event. Get what you need today with absolutely $0 down. Pay nothing with no interest until 2028. Or choose 36 equal monthly payments on qualifying purchases. Plus, save up to 25% on living room furniture, up to 20% on dining and bedroom furniture, and up to 40% on select mattresses. Hurry into the Brick today. These incredible offers are only on until August 19th. The Brick, saving you more.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review your options and build a personalized plan to reduce your payments and get you out of debt, so you can breathe again. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, 1022 in Edmonton. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy G this week. David Schlemko, former NHLer, co-hosting alongside, and he is brought to you by, powered by Cougar Paint and Collision. Family service and pride have earned customer trust for decades. CougarCollision.com. We're going to mix in a little off-season hockey talk out of market as Jess Myers from the Pioneer Press, covering the Minnesota Wild, now joins us on the line. Jess, good morning. Happy summer to you. Hope it's been going well. Appreciate you taking a little time to talk hockey with us this morning.
It's an absolutely perfect day in the Twin Cities today too. And I'm actually at Target Field.
Awesome.
The Twins and the Braves are gonna have the first pitch here maybe in an hour. And I said the one regret I have in my life, or one of the regrets I have, I spent most of my 20s and 30s inside the Metrodome watching baseball. Just a terrible tragedy in the long run when you look at just a perfectly sunny, 80-degree Fahrenheit day here in Minnesota, baseball game about to start up. And I don't miss the Teflon-coated roof at all. I'll just say that.
Well, it's funny you're taking the Twins. The Twins, one of the many teams entrenched in this AL wildcard race against the Toronto Blue Jays. And listen, there's plenty of Twins fans north of the border too, Jess, as I'm sure you're aware, particularly probably in Saskatchewan and Manitoba and even northwestern Ontario. So do you see a lot of Canadians flux across the border to these games regardless of opponent throughout the course of the season?
Well, you do. I mean, this is the nearest baseball market for places like Winnipeg and Thunder Bay and, some of those kind of hot spots. I do say it's always fun when the Blue Jays are in town.
Yeah.
Because go to Mall of America or any of, the big hot spots here before or after a Twins Blue Jays game, and all you see are Ontario and Manitoba license plates. It's outstanding.
There's a little bit of a similar sentiment here in Edmonton, Jess, when the Brick Invitational hockey tournament rolls around each summer around the start of July, and you can usually pick out some of the Americans or even sometimes Europeans that have made their way to Edmonton. Yeah, and our studios are right in West Edmonton Mall as well, where the tournament's played. So it's great to see. That's the awesome thing about sport, that it can take you a lot of places and bring a lot of people across your path that you probably otherwise wouldn't interact with. So Jess Myers from the Pioneer Press covering the Minnesota Wild, our guest here on the Tom Gazzola Show. The Wild this summer, Jess, a solid offseason. They had a great year last year. Getting into the, back in the playoff picture, winning a first round matchup over a division rival too. I think the number one question, right, is the future of Quinn Hughes since being acquired. And at this point, heading into the final year of his deal, where does that status currently lie in your understanding in him and the team? Are there ongoing negotiations about an extension? Does he want to stay long-term, mid-term? Does he want to depart? Where's your feelings on that?
Everybody has said all of the right things at this point. Quinn Hughes in his first press conference here in Minnesota talked about, I'd be welcome to signing an extension. You're right. He's heading into the last year of his deal. There's all the talk out there about, the two brothers that play in New Jersey. Will they want to reunite on the ice somewhere at some point? But talking to Quinn Hughes, during the season, talking to him after the season, everything that has been said publicly is he likes it here. He'd be open to signing an extension here. Bill Guerin, the general manager, has talked a lot about, that's our biggest priority in the offseason. With that said, we're less than a month out from training camp and nothing has happened. Mm-hmm. And interestingly, this is kind of deja vu for Minnesota fans because if you'll recall last summer, we spent all year wondering about Kirill Kaprizov. When is an extension going to come? The rumors that he already had a secret deal with the Rangers, all these other conspiracy theories that you get in the era of, social media and the internet and all of that. They made it to the start of training camp, and maybe a week or two in, Kirill Kaprizov signed what at that time was the biggest contract in NHL history, $17 million a year. Now, ironically, he's never going to play a game as the highest paid player because you're seeing what's happened to salaries. But this is really just kind of a replay where everybody's saying, hey, these things take time. There's an ongoing negotiation. Quinn still likes it here, all of that. So we're waiting and seeing. As a good writer, I've got a dummy story written, just waiting to fill in some numbers as soon as something happens. But yeah, that'll be the ongoing story here as the state fair approaches and as we get closer to training camp.
So, Jess, let's say Billy G gets her done and signs Quinn Hughes to an extension. Any chance you see this deal extending beyond the 3 years that are left on Jack Hughes' contract?
If Billy can get more than 3 years, hand him the GM of the Year award for the second year in a row. Because, that's the narrative that we've heard so much. Jack Hughes has 3 years left on a really good contract in New Jersey. All this the talk that, well, why don't the Wild just trade for Jack Hughes, make the reunion here? Jack Hughes' contract is so good for the Devils. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to move him right now. It's very similar to Matt Boldy here in Minnesota making $7 million a year or something like that. That looks like an incredible bargain now with what's happened to salaries in the last half a year even. So, the thought is that, they'll get a deal done. It'll be 3 years. You're looking at somewhere in that $17 to $18 million range. And as much as there is sticker shock with that idea of paying a defenseman that much, you can't underestimate what Quinn Hughes meant to this team. He has rewritten the Minnesota Wild record books as far as offense by a defenseman, and he did it in 48 games. He arrived here in the middle of December. So it's just incredible what an effect he has had on the back end and on kind of that offensive contributions to the defense here in Minnesota.
Talking Minnesota Wild with Jess Myers from the Pioneer Press down in Minnie in the Twin Cities. Now, Brock Faber, when he signed that extension, it raised a few eyebrows because he was still very green, but in typical Bill Guerin fashion, it aged pretty well pretty shortly here. To your eye, Jess, did the acquisition of Hughes take a little bit of pressure off Faber and allow him to blossom even further into the, kind of top all-around D-man that this team has without needing the, Hughes to kind of take over some of the real high-end offensive duties on a, game-to-game basis?
Absolutely. And I mean, Brock Faber was the face of the back end for the Minnesota Wild prior to Quinn Hughes getting here. It maybe took a little bit of that pressure off of Faber's shoulders that he could, kind of be the second fiddle, the second guy in that pairing. It was funny. One of the great Quinn Hughes moments, maybe 10 games into his tenure here in Minnesota, he's got, 8 points or something like that. Faber's got 3 goals playing alongside him. And Quinn Hughes says to us, as soon as Brock and I get on the same page, we're going to be really good together. And we're all looking at each other like, there's another year beyond this one. Oh my goodness. And lo and behold, there was. I mean, by the end of the year, those two playing together was really something. Now, looking at it from a Minnesota fan standpoint, the concern has got to be, what if one of those guys goes down? I've said this for years. There are a few worse things you can do to a human body than playing defense in the National Hockey League. Let's just face it. It's a tough position. It's a place where you get in the way of pucks coming at you real fast. You get hit, all of that. If one of those two guys goes down, that raises a lot of questions about what's going on with this back end. When you look at guys like Jared Spurgeon, who's been a mainstay here forever, he's been the captain forever, but he's getting on into his 30s now, his late 30s. You've got Zach Bogosian, who had just a really tough year last year as far as injuries go. He's coming back for another year and is closing in on that 1,000 games milestone. So, we'll have to see what happens there. But, the trade they made with the Flames to bring Olli Maatta in here, they're looking for him to maybe be kind of a veteran, back there on the blue line as well. So, be interesting to see how it all shakes out beyond that first pair on the defense.
Okay, Jess, beyond the roster, I want to ask you about one of my old coaches, John Hines. He's one of the most intense, detail-oriented coaches I ever had. How much pressure does he have to deliver a deep playoff run this year?
Well, the fact that they got past the first round was a huge thing, not only for this franchise, which hadn't seen a second round series in, more than a decade, but for John Hines, that was the first time in his career that he's won a playoff series. So that was clearly an important first step. Things imploded pretty well against Colorado, and Colorado, for all intents and purposes, looked like a shoo-in for the Stanley Cup. And then you saw by the third round how much the first two playoff rounds had taken out of that Avalanche team, because there wasn't a lot left in the tank. But that's the other contract question right now. John Hines is heading into the final year of his contract. Bill Guerin has said, an extension will be forthcoming, but he really seems to have found a home here. And keep in mind, when they made the midseason change and fired Dean Evison and brought John Hines in end of November a couple of years ago, they gave Hines a 3-year contract right away. So there was an idea that, this isn't any kind of interim thing. This is a guy we want to build around. We want to, get guys used to his system. And I think you're seeing some promising beginnings of that. But back to your original question, there absolutely is pressure to get past round 2 and make a move. This is a franchise that's been around 25 years. They've been to the third round once. Clearly haven't brought a Stanley Cup here or even a trip to the finals here. So yeah, there's a huge amount of pressure, especially in a hockey crazy state like Minnesota.
Jess Myers for the Pioneer Press covering the Minnesota Wild, our guest here on the Tom Gazzola Show. Brandon Douglas, David Schlemko sitting in this morning. Now up front, Jess, you talk about that pressure to make a deeper run. Are they good enough at the center position for that to be a reality as the roster is currently constructed? Like Joel Eriksson, he is still somehow one of the more underrated players in the league between his two-way game and the skill he does possess. But is he a bona fide top-line center? Is it a further growth from Danila Yurov? And then, Ryan Hartman doing spot duty at times. We've seen him do that plenty over his tenure with Minnesota, because this is a team that's so good on the wings. But do they still need to find that bona fide number one center to make them legitimate, true Stanley Cup contenders, in your opinion?
I think they do. And, that's interesting. Every year it seems like heading into free agency, there's talk that we got to go out and find that number one center. The Dylan Larkin talk blew up as soon as he made it clear that he wanted to be traded. Well, then when the rumor got out there that they wanted Matt Boldy in return, that's a non-starter. Yeah. Boldy's just too good, too young, too good of a contract. You're not going to move him for a guy who's in his 30s, as good as Dylan Larkin would be, and as great a fit as he would be on this team. But yeah, I think you do still need a number one center. And you ask about Joel Eriksson-Ek. I'll say this about him. Yes, I think he can be a legit top line center, but his durability keeps coming into question. They keep losing him at key times. My colleague Michael Russo at The Athletic at the end of the season asked Bill Guerin straight out. He said, Jonas Brodin and Joel Eriksson-Ek are two of the greatest players in the NHL when they're healthy, but it seems like they're never healthy when you need them. So that's kind of the knock on Eriksson-Ek, is can he be durable? He's a guy who has 1 year. He's got that big body. He plays at the front of the net. He's not going to shy away from anything, but that takes its toll after a while. So that's a growing question there as well.
What about in net? After great rookie season, Wallstedt seems ready to carry the load. I mean, especially with Gustafsson out to start the year. Do you see him ready to carry that load? And do you see Gustafsson maybe being available to be moved if he does have a good start?
Interesting development there because, right at the start of last season, they signed Gustafsson to the big extension. I think it was 5 years and, $5 million or something like that. He, for all intents and purposes, looked like the future in goal. Then they got off to just a lousy start. They start playing Jesper Wallstedt more. He has that month of November where he's like 11-0-1. He's winning shootouts, all of that, looking like a true candidate for Rookie of the Year. And, of course, they went with Wallstedt for all but one of their playoff games, and he was generally pretty good. Take away that fluky 9-6 game against Colorado where, nobody looked good defensively. So it looks to me like Wallstedt is ready to be the number one. Interestingly enough, we spent all of February and March thinking, are they going to trade Jesper Wallstedt to bring in somebody, thinking that he was expendable. Now he looks like he's a budding number one. Gustafsson had the offseason hip surgery. He's not going to be back until sometime in November. So they went out and got Calvin Pickard as ostensibly the backup. And then, once Gustafsson is healthy, they're going to have a glut of goalies, and it will be really interesting to see if one of those guys becomes a bargaining chip at that point.
Mm-hmm. Jess Myers from the Pioneer Press covering the Minnesota Wild with us here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Now, a player up front that I'm interested in is the addition of Max Shabanov. Obviously, the 1 year on Long Island. He's not a young player anymore. He's already 25, but just the 1 year in the NHL and a 1 year deal that he inked there. Is he going to get a pretty long look to give himself a chance in the top six here in camp, you think, to play alongside some of those high skill wingers that they have up top in Mini?
Absolutely. And, the big question, or one of the big questions heading into training camp, is who do you pair with Kirill Kaprizov on the other wing? He had an incredible chemistry with Matt Zuccarello, but they just weren't going to bring Matt Zuccarello back at his age for what turned out to be a $6 million contract that he got in Los Angeles. Good for him. He's a great guy. I hope it works out great for him. But they spent all year, and especially when Zuccarello was out, trying to find somebody else who could play with Kaprizov. And weirdly, he's got a fragile chemistry. I'll just say that. You can't just plug in any player with him. They paired him with Vladimir Tarasenko, who's one of the great goal scorers of all time. Just didn't fit together for some reason. So I think Shabanov will get that opportunity to pair with Kaprizov on a wing, see how they do with, maybe Eriksson-Ek at center. Maybe you put Ryan Hartman back on that top line center to provide some kind of grit in the game that he brings, the two-way game. Yeah, I think Shabanov's going to get a good look here.
And last one for you, Jess. Inside this Central Division that is, compared to the Pacific, so top heavy when you've got the defending President's Trophy champion Avalanche. Dallas looks to be a contender yet again. We've spent the last 20 minutes talking about Minnesota. Utah made the playoffs last year. Winnipeg wanting to bounce back, you would think, with certainly some question marks. Chicago on the rise. St. Louis not quite ready to fully sell out. This is an incredibly competitive division. Is Minnesota, you think, as an organization, comfortable saying, listen, if we can grab one of those 2 or 3 spots, ideally the higher seed to get to the home ice advantage come playoff time? Or is there a real internal push to win the division and try and make a life a little bit easier, potentially or hopefully, in that first round matchup come spring 2027?
25 years in Minnesota, they have one team accomplishment banner hanging from the ceiling. It was a Northwest Division championship that they won in about 2008, and they promptly bowed out in the first round of the playoffs. So I don't know that there's a ton of pressure to do that. You certainly don't want to win your division at all costs. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Talking about the Central, it's crazy. And sadly, I did the math at one point last year about what date the Wild would have clinched the playoffs if they were still played in the old Northwest, with Calgary being a mess, with Vancouver, I don't know what's going on there. That just seems to be a team consistently in transition. So yeah, kind of made me nostalgic. I didn't miss those old, 9:30 starts for TV purposes, but yeah, the Central top to bottom, and you mentioned it. Utah all of a sudden looks like this up-and-coming team with all this young talent, and they've got a rabid fan base for the first time in a long time. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how this division shakes up. Colorado, I don't think has anywhere to go but down. Dallas, I wonder if that window is closing pretty quickly. So there's certainly an opportunity for a team to come in and make some noise in the Central. But man, what a dogfight!
Well, Jess, really appreciate your time. Enjoy the ball game today. As you said, looks like a dandy between the Twins and the Braves on tap from the Twin Cities. Enjoy the remainder of your summer. I'll look forward to catching up again once hockey gets rolling here into late September and October. Appreciate your time.
Sounds great, guys. Always fun to talk hockey.
Jess Myers, Pioneer Press, covering the Minnesota Wilds. Schlemmer, who wins the Central Division next year?
Well, that's a tough call. I don't think he's wrong on Colorado and Dallas maybe taking a little step back.
I kind of thought Colorado was going to do that last year, and I just looked like the biggest idiot in the world. But then they get another great year out of Brock Nelson, obviously, who I didn't love the fit when he first came over from Long Island, but looked like a perfect fit last year in it. And it's just a matter of when you keep needing to pay the top guys more and more, the bottom end just gets thinner and thinner, right? And that's kind of where Dallas is at right now, especially after the Robertson situation. So
I like where Utah is at as a team.
No doubt.
I really do. They're young and talented and got some good contracts.
Could you see a world where 5 Central Division teams make the playoffs and just the 3 Pacific automatic qualifiers do?
Yeah, could see it. Depending on those California teams we were talking about earlier.
Right out of my mouth. We're all about those California teams because, I think Edmonton and Vegas are surefire playoff qualifiers this year. Hopefully a little more breathing room than they had last year inside that Pillow Fight Pacific.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then, I talk about duking it out between Anaheim, San Jose, LA, probably not the other Pacific teams, but Winnipeg, St. Louis, Utah.
We'll see.
It's going to be tough. Very tough. When we return, we will wrap up the show, send Schlemmer on his merry way, let you know what's coming up on the station for the rest of today, and tee things up moving into the remainder of the week as well. It's the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in. Watch the show. It's streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, and it's brought to you by Bet365.
The family at Cougar Paint and Collision are growing, and clan member Cameron remembers his first time in the shop.
I hired myself at Cougar initially. Gordon was concerned about getting bike parts done and didn't really have enough help in the back. So I showed up and told Gordy I was fixing bike parts. He told me no, and I told him, yes, I am. I said, you can either tell me what you want me to do or I can just make it up myself. Just like to say that those bike parts that I hired myself to fix, I don't think I ever got paid for those. Just so if you can make a note of that.
Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Shulman for the games live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com. Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation Mighty Millions Lottery VIP deadline is midnight Friday. Get in now for the power play and $75K VIP prize. Imagine taking your seat as the Oilers hit the ice, hearing the roar of the crowd with every goal, every save, every moment all season long. Plus, score $75,000 and be in to win the $2.4 million grand prize show home in Cameron Heights. VIP deadline is midnight Friday. Change lives. Win big. Be mighty. Buy now at MightyMillionsLottery.com.
Hi, Edmonton. If the Subaru Outback is on your wish list, now's the time to act. With only limited inventory available, these award-winning SUVs won't be here for long. The Outback has earned an IIHS top safety pick or higher for 17 consecutive years, combining legendary Subaru capability, confidence in every season, and the versatility to take you almost anywhere. Reserve yours today before they're gone. Visit your local Subaru dealership today. Welcome to Uncommon.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Thing just said better knees in 1 week. Home stretch of the Tom Gazzola Show. Welcome back. Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy G. Few more days in the big chair before I, too, take a little time off, and Tom will be back. And David Schlemko, former NHLer, alongside co-hosting, powered by Cougar Paint and Collision. Schlemmer, I'm a little worried about next week. Donovan says he's going down to Canmore to golf over the weekend, staying over in Canmore Saturday night with a show to get ready for Monday morning. I'm nervous.
Are you?
I'm nervous for Donovan. I'm not going to be here.
I think he's got it.
You don't got to be worried, and I'll tell you why.
Oh boy,
because my fantasy football draft is Sunday night, so I need to be locked in.
So you're going to be distracted. You're not going to be getting ready for the show. You're going to be doing all your draft prep.
That can also double as show prep in some capacity. Depending on where we end up going.
You still play any fantasy football these days, Schlemmer?
No.
Did you back with teammates and stuff when?
Yeah, I used to, like, when I played. I'd go on the team one and just like donate my $500 or whatever it was. Like,
just hand it over.
By like week 4, I'm just sick of like managing the roster, and I don't know. It's just not my thing.
I don't know. Hey, to me, it gives me something to do. Sitting it, like in the hours between my day here at the studio ending and the evening of games beginning, whatever, like, once hockey season starts, 5:00 rolls around, football season, whatever day, Thursday games and stuff. That's all great. But what am I supposed to do in the hours in between that besides eat lunch?
Okay.
I gotta dig into my fantasy football research and get it all cracked out. And I'll admit it. I'm not a huge research guy. I'll check some numbers. It's all about the gut feel, the vibe.
I was going to say that was one thing I never did was any research.
It's like looking and you're like, yeah, I know that guy's name. Ad.
Yeah. Oh, that guy had a good week last week. Better pick him up.
Our text line 1-833-414-1440. This one from Ben Dangles. Wow, Donovan must be making good money doing radio. $350 a night, hotels in Canmore. That's the low end. Well, maybe Donovan's just got his good buddy Andrew Walker comping everything for him again, just like he did on his trip to Toronto.
No, he didn't comp everything in Toronto. I mean, he did comp.
Only the box.
He did comp
seats at
the
Blue Jays game.
Sweet seats at the Blue Jays game for one game. So
pretty good friend.
That was. Thanks again, Walks. That was.
Shout out.
That was next level. No, but it's not. It's just. I don't know. Me and the boys, we always do some kind of trip every summer in some capacity. We hadn't done a golf trip down to Canmore, the mountains, in probably 3 years. So we wanted to get that back going again.
You should just went to Red Deer and played the Balmoral Golf Club. Really nice.
What better way can you spend a golf weekend than in the mountains with the fellas?
There isn't. There's no better weekend.
Exactly.
Can't argue that one, bud.
It's tough. It's tough to argue. But clearly, Donnie the exec raking in the dough.
For sure.
This guy's taking a golf trip and a Toronto trip all in one summer. It's flush. I can't afford to do that. I only get to do one or the other. And choice was easy for me this year because I couldn't golf for half the summer. So that was a pretty easy decision. I believe we are ready to rock and roll with today's edition of Cam and Eggs Hot in the Pan. Donnie, fired up.
Let's go.
With the big golf gathering at the Royal Mayfair, we're going to support the golf. We're going to whisper winner we can. We all know baseball's a game of numbers. So I'm going to give you one right off the hop. Wherever you are, shower, breakfast table, driving when it is safe, please scribble this down. 833-401-1440. Oops, sorry. We have to talk very quietly. Man, oh man, the Blue Jays are hot right now. Grab a water bottle. Hot, not crank the AC. Hot. I'm talking full-blown 5-alarm. Somebody call the fire department. Hot. Last night in Tampa, Toronto lit up the scoreboard. 10-5 over the Rays. And Alejandro Kirk, 3 hits. 3. The man was seeing the ball like it had his name written on it. 10 runs, folks. That's not a baseball score. That's a phone number. And the way this team's swinging the bats right now, I wouldn't blink because you might miss another one leaving the yard. The Blue Jays are fighting for October, and this wild card race is going right down to the wire. Every game, every pitch, every out. It all matters now. Are you on the Blue Jay bandwagon? Text to 833-401-1440. The race is on. Don't watch from the sidelines. Remember to whisper all week. Cam and Egg Sports 1440.
Thank you, Tater. Leaning into our golf theme this week with the CPKC Women's Open taking place down at Royal Mayfair. Schlemmer, you're going on Friday with your dad, you said. You're going to go check out the scene.
You go check it out. I've never even been to the course. So.
Well, that's one element. And then, like, I've kind of been, harping on this a little bit, soapboxing. Like, we always complain when organizations or leagues and stuff like overlook Western Canada or Edmonton specifically for marquee events. And sure, this is not the RBC Canadian Open, which never comes out to Western Canada. We kind of talked with our guest Brian Newton about that earlier in the show. But like, this is a big deal to get this event here in Edmonton. So you don't got to go watch all 4 rounds from sun up to sundown, but like, go and check it out. Like, you don't really know what you like until you do it. This will be the first time I've got to go watch a professional golf event in person in my life.
Yeah.
So that to me is cool. And then you factor in, they got the rink cold. There'll be a great selection of food and drinks, and one of the very best courses that Edmonton has to offer, obviously on the private side of things. So I do encourage people to check it out, and I hope you have a great time down there with your dad on Friday. Are you planning on doing the double dip, a little golf Commonwealth action? Elks Friday night?
I wasn't, but I might have to consider that.
It's worth considering. 7:30, they kick off against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are hanging around in the West Division right there along with the Lions, a game back of the Riders, who are a game back of the first place Edmonton Elks. And tomorrow, Friday, we'll be leaning full tilt into Elks content to get you ready for that Friday night game. Coming up on the station for the rest of the day, it'll be 11 o'clock, the Frenzy, Connor Halley, Donovan, Josh, young Connor, all in studio for that. And then noon to 2, the Lowdown with Low Tide. Declan Kruger will be popping by, of course, for his daily fixture on that program. And then 2 to 6, the Jason Greger Show with guest host Connor Halley sitting in there as well. And then Blue Jays baseball, first pitch tonight, same as yesterday, 4:40. So we'll pick that up in progress here on the station. AM radio dial only. If you're listening online, you will get Fox Sports Radio. And then FSR overnight. We're back with you tomorrow, 7 o'clock, to do it all over again. Schlemmer, any other plans weekend-wise?
Doing a little bit of evaluating. Hockey's starting up,
season,
right? Hockey's starting up. Tryouts are starting. So I'll be at the rink. I'm sure it'll be nice to be back.
The Crisp Air. You should be glad you're in here today and not yesterday. The AC was not working in here yesterday.
Oh, really?
And it was hot.
That's tough.
I was wishing I was at the rink for these 4 hours.
I bet.
So, good stuff as always, Schlemmer. Appreciate it, and enjoy the golf on Friday. We'll see if we can bump into you down at the Mayfair.
Sounds good, buddy.
David Schlemko, former NHLer, Brick Tournament alumni, Quick Card Minor Hockey Week champion, Central League champion, Western League champion, and our co-host 9 to 11, powered by Cougar Paint and Collision.
Just a serial winner.
This guy knows how to win. And his crowning jewel, Sports 1440. The real feather in his cap on his resume. Appreciate all the texts that came in today on a variety of topics, including recommendations for what I should occupy myself with while in Toronto next week. We got some people suggesting restaurants. One guy says Ripley's is right next to
the aquarium.
I love aquariums. I went to the one in Vegas. You get yourself a little enhanced and go in there for a few hours and walk around. You can have yourself a very good time. It says there's even sea turtles in there, which I think would be pretty cool. Canada's Wonderland, little amusement park action. I'm not sure that will quite make its way onto my itinerary, but appreciate all the messages all the same. Keep them coming in over the course of the afternoon. 1-833-401-1440. Hope everyone has an excellent remainder of their Wednesday. As mentioned, we'll be back tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Do it all over again. Sean Bell, I believe, is not taking holidays like Tom Gazzola, and he'll be in to co-host with us from 9 to 11 as well. Let's close out the show with a Sports 1440 update. Final one of the morning. It's brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand, high-quality promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. That's Fusion with a Z. Take care. Enjoy the nice weather. If you do get a chance to maybe sneak out, check out the tail end of the Pro-Am at the Mayfair this afternoon. I hope to run into you while down there. For Donovan and Josh, Schlemmer and Tater, I'm Brandon Douglas. Have a great remainder of your Wednesday. Here's Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Yes.
MLB action today. The Jays battle the Rays with Max Scherzer on the bump for the Bluebirds. Drew Rasmussen going for Tampa. First pitch flying at 4:40. One game currently underway in the majors. It is the Tigers and Pirates knotted at zeros. Runners on first and second in the bottom of the first inning. Other games in the majors getting underway. The Mets and Padres, that's in just over 10 minutes time. The Braves are in Minnesota at 11:40. The Battle of Chicago happens at 12:20. Red Sox hosting the D-backs just after 2. The Yankees are in Baltimore. The Guardians hosting the Giants, and the Mariners looking to bounce back after a 22-0 drubbing at the hands of the Brewers. Some NFL injury news. Chargers center Tyler Biadasz, he went down with an ACL injury and other additional damage yesterday. Jaden Higgins, he is done for the year after a torn ACL. Coming up, it is the Frenzy. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West